Good evening, and welcome to the Doomsday Granitegard here on the Guardtower Presents. So if you probably guessed by now, we're having a couple of technical difficulties here. But to be honest with you, that's part of the fun of actually doing a live stream is you get what you get on that sometimes. And sometimes you just kind of got to roll with it on that. But we are going to have a stellar episode for you this evening. And typically we do stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday evenings. But a little late tonight, sorry about that.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably.
The party doesn't start till we walk in.
That's right.
That's
right.
So, yes, don't join us most Friday evenings at 7 p.m. For our live stream, and then...
Sundays?
Sundays.
You haven't told me. Sundays, like I said, Sundays.
He hasn't
Fridays,
told us either.
So, yes, this is why we drink. Back to where we were.
Fruit juice.
Fruit juice,
Yes, so if you have missed any of our prior episodes, you can go to the Guardtower's YouTube channel to catch up on those. And Stas, what is the best way to not only find the Guardtower's YouTube channel, but all the social media that we utilize?
Hello, Stas Fradkin here. You may all know me as Gildan of Gildan's Caravan of Wonders, or Roland, the inept yet lovable town guard. But something a lot of folks don't know about me is, although I do love playing D&D, my true passion lies in arboriculture, which we all know is, of course, the study of trees. That's right. Yeah, good job, everybody.
Yes, I knew it all
That was for Echo. That was an Echo.
Yeah.
question. I already knew that
He's
one.
the expert. And there are so many trees. We have, for example, the American basswood, the Tilia americana. We have the common hackberry, real popular one, or the Celtis occidentalis. And of course, who can forget the larch? The larch.
Oh my goodness, really?
However, my favorite type of tree is not one that grows in the ground. No, this one is rooted in the World Wide Web, and whose branches sprout not toward the sky, but directly into your media devices.
And there's nothing you can do
I'm
to stop
talking,
it.
of course, about the Linktr.ee.
Yay.
Well done.
Yes, the Linktr.ee, the source for the most delicious fruit of all, information.
Content. Sweet content. It's right this time of
We are
year.
pretty fruity, I'll give you that.
It contains links to everything related to the Doom City of Granitegard, such as our Discord channel, our YouTube channel, our Patreon, our Instagram, our TikTok, and our merch section, which of course carries Gildan's official seal of approval. So exercise your green thumb and go to Linktr./dcog. That's linktr.ee/dcog to find all this and more.
Would you say that your likes and subscribes are the fertilizer that helps our links?
Absolutely. Yes, your
The
subscription.
nitrates that they add to the soil.
Yes,
of
your
the
subscriptions
internet.
feed nature.
Definitely spent some fertilizer right there.
Your views are water. Your likes are sunshine.
And finally, folks, remember, when you're hiking the trails of the information forest, let the Linktree be your beacon and guide you on your trail. Linktree. Linktree, everybody.
It was like an 890s PSA about the internet.
Encore.
Stas, thank you so very much. And now for something completely different. Dated myself there, sorry about that. All right, moving forward. Tonight, we're featuring minis from Chris Wolfgang over at Glittering Cave Studios. And Captain Theot, as well as Sir Gendron's characters, are provided by our friend Tony Thepison. Thank you so very much on that. And Chris Field has a ton of amazing items that you can see on our battle maps this evening. And tonight, the fireplace is actually going to be working on it. That was technical difficulty last week. Now,
You lit the fireplace?
This room needs more
yes,
fire.
the fireplace was actually supposed to be lit last time, but apparently I don't know how to flip a switch.
The Reverend
So-
did that.
Anyways, moving forward on that, wow, that is some amazing background music that we do have there tonight. Adam,
Thank you. Did you see how I did that? I'll do it again. Watch.
Whoa.
There's a delay because it's Bluetooth.
Yes.
Still working it out.
I do believe that you have a thing to tell us about our amazing music.
I do. So, every week, we meet here for D&D, and I'm sure a lot of you guys wish that you had a consistent group that could meet weekly, but one day you will.
Weird.
And when you meet up with that group, what better to bring you all into your dark dungeons, your mystical forests where you might find a Linktree or two, than some wonderful music. And I choose to spice up my games with a little app called Pocket Bard. You can find that in the Google Play Store or the App Store of Apple, which is a type of tree, by the way. And that sweet, succulent fruit of that apple tree can be planted. When you plant that, do you know what grows? A bard, and you can fit that in your pocket. Any device that can get apps and play music, you should have it on, because honestly, makes everything simpler for me. It'll make everything simpler for you. I'm sorry?
What about my Kyocera flip phone?
You could try it.
I will.
All right, get back to me next week.
I'm pretty sure we can take my little Arduino chipset. We can finagle that to play Pocket Bard.
There you go.
Buy a flip phone.
Anywhere on the World Wide Web is a Linktree. Anywhere with app stores has a Pocket Bard. And anywhere where there are dice to be thrown, there are nerds to play the game. And with that, I've concluded my segment.
I appreciate that. I would certainly buy a used car for you. Thank you so much.
Good, because I have one to sell. And I'll take it for inspiration for the rest of the night.
Goes to the next segment. It's you selling your car.
I got a 2007.
So my question is,
It's a Toyota Corolla. It's got 400,000
it's
miles.
just around the corner, and that is starting on June 21st and running through the 25th. And that's at the Columbus Convention Center. Get your badges today and come experience the fun and excitement of one of the largest tabletop gaming conventions in the United States. Did you know that Origins started back in 1975 in Baltimore, Maryland, as a matter of fact?
Fun fact.
And Origins actually used to be together.
So they
I guess
migrate.
they kind of broke up, and now it's like mom's over here, dad's over here. Regardless of that.
They can come see the technical difficulties in person.
Yes, exactly. So, as my producer was saying, we are going to be there this year, so you can definitely come and join us. We're going to be in room A120, which is right across from Exhibit Hall A, right by the escalators and the tea shop, that coffee and tea that's there. But we're going to have some interesting things in our room for anybody that stops in and sees us. Some kinds of crazy things that we're going to get going on there. Now, unfortunately, all the regular tabletop games that we had scheduled to play with various members are all filled up. However, if you stop in and hang out with us for a little while, you might be able to convince us to do an improv game with you. Which you never know. But big thing for us, though, is going to be Saturday evening, starting at 4 o'clock on Saturday the 24th. We have a meet and greet, and all of the cast and crew of the Doom City of Granitegard are going to be there to answer questions about the show itself, talking about the characters and things along those lines. And we have a couple of really cool announcements, and I can guarantee you the next part's even more awesome than that. We're doing a live play episode, so you can come and see all the technical difficulties in person, as my producer mentioned earlier. But also that evening we have some seriously interesting events that should be in store for our cast on that. So I'm very excited to spring some fun within and share that with you there.
Well, I
So
don't
yeah.
like that. But if you come to watch it, you'll love it.
That's true.
Fun for you, not so
Now,
much for us.
No,
no.
not the pit.
Now, while our
Live
our
action
events
pit.
are all free, you will need a badge from Origins to come and see us there. So definitely want to get that badge taken care of. Now, you can go online to tabletop.events/conventions/game-fair-2023. Sorry, I don't have that quite memorized yet. But the easier way to find that would be to use our Linktree and visit our Discord server, where you can find a link for it there to find all the events that we're
It's
also
even on the
hosting.
Linktree now.
It's even on the Linktree.
I
now?
know.
Whoa.
Technology.
How amazing.
It grows.
It's a low-hanging fruit.
When
It
you
is,
plant
yes.
that fruit for an
Sense of our
impromptu
neighbor.
ad spot,
It's added
it's
new weight
so
to
And
amazing.
our amazing admin that you see taking care of things for us on our stream tonight will also be putting that up for you, so thank you so very much on that. But again, nice and easy way to find the events that we've got going on. We still have some tickets there, so do please come and join us on that. We would really love to just have a good time with you as we do the game. Kind of enjoy the magic that we've got here going on with each other on that. And on top of that, I do think the next section is kind of where I've been waiting to get to tonight. Tonight is Father's Day, and a couple of us want to give some shout outs to someone special in our lives. So I'm going to start with Adam this evening. I don't believe you got something to kick us off with there.
I do. I wanted to reach out and personally say thank you to my father. Without him, I would never have gotten this far in my tabletop career. Many of my friends playing late into the evenings and early mornings in the basement, while he came down with snacks and would just laugh at us half passed out on the couch pretending to be wizards, shouting random things at each other, and I can only imagine how much Jeopardy we interrupted for him. So thank you so much, Dad. I love you.
And Roger, I believe you got something to say?
Shout out to both my dads, Scott and Roger. Scott, thank you for letting me know that you might be able to catch the show tonight, but you were smoking a brisket and you might have to go outside and check it.
Dad is big dad energy.
And so I hope
Most
the brisket's
dad.
good. And for my father, also named Roger, thanks for being an OG fan since the very beginning and watching, I believe, quite literally every single episode and then reviewing some of them later in the week and sending me questions and texts about characters and who these people are outside of the show.
That's
It's
adorable.
really awesome.
That's
So thanks for
awesome.
everything.
So cute.
Love that.
And go ahead, Sir Jindrin and Ben.
Oh, just want to say Happy Father's Day to my dad. There's the little voice in my head that kind of tells me right from wrong is his voice. So love you, Dad.
I know.
To my dad, Peter, I want to thank you for everything you've ever done for me, and even though you have no idea what Dungeons & Dragons is, you still tuned in for a few episodes and were very confused, but you were supportive through it all. Thank you. I love you. Happy Father's Day.
I'm going to wrap things up here. I would like to say thank you, Dad, for putting up with all the years of us taking over the kitchen table and passing out all over the living room floor. Thank you for all the food that you allow us to wipe out of your pantry there. And a lot of the guidance and help that you've given me over the years. I really do appreciate that. And my dad now actually plays Dungeons & Dragons with my nieces.
Aww.
Nice.
Awesome.
So thank you very much,
Getting through.
dads in general. We are going to jump over to our intro at this point, and we'll see you back after that, do a quick recap, and then jump into the game. Once the seat of economic and political power in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard fell in one catastrophic moment of terror and bloodshed. In the quiet hours of the night, the massive granite mesa that served as the city's namesake exploded violently, the debris reducing entire swaths of the city to ruin. Before the inhabitants could even comprehend what had happened, they were blindsided by an army of monstrosities surging from the sewers and into the city streets. The militia valiantly attempted to protect the fleeing citizens, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming tide of bloodthirsty creatures. And in the midst of the chaos, the city gates slammed shut, turning Granitegard into a death trap for anyone that remained behind the high, fortified walls that had been meant to protect them. For over a decade, it has stood as silent as a tomb, and shrouded in a perpetual mist. No one has entered, and nothing human has ever come out. That is, until now. 12 years to the day since the fall of Granitegard, the Trader's Gate has opened. The news has spread like wildfire across the human crescent. And like a siren's call, fortune hunters from far and wide have been drawn by the possibility of untold riches lying just inside the city walls. Daring the foolish and the brave to risk it all at a chance of wealth beyond their wildest dreams. It has also stirred the interest of old rivals. With no one from the original bloodline to claim the mantle of leadership of Granitegard, plans are forming in the dark. Powerful forces seek to play their games of state, as the lives of everyone in the north hangs in the balance. And in the midst of this all, 6 strangers have been drawn to Granitegard by something other than riches or power. Their destiny is tied to the events surrounding the fall of the city. Each of them must confront the past in order to find a way forward. Each of them must search for answers in the doomed city of Granitegard. back. So before we throw some dice this evening, we're going to go again over a quick recap here. Seeking an exit to Newtown while George and the Concordance forces, why is that having trouble coming out? I guess it's just a perfect evening for that. The party made their way down to the garrison tower through the rain and the mud, only to discover that the tower itself was not unoccupied. Members of the Thieves Guild, now taken over by the Way, appeared to have been using the garrison as a base of operations. To the surprise of Pavis, who was the young thief that both Echo and the Reverend had so taken under their wing, he walked in just as the party, I guess I should clarify that, just as Damon, under the Reverend's guidance, was taking out one of the guards. The young boy quickly led the party to the base of the tower, where Vaughn was able to discover the secret mechanism that opened the door that led to the secret passage. Using a bit of trickery, the Reverend was able to buy the party enough time to avoid being caught. And the party was able to use the stairwell to head down into the earth, where it joined a passageway that seemed to be made of the same material and construction that reminded the party of the buried chambers in which they had found the keystone. The party progressed down the passageway until they encountered a solid granite wall that blocked any further progress. And sticking out from underneath that granite wall was a mummified arm that seemed to be clutching something. And as the Reverend went to investigate, all of a sudden these thousand fireflies manifested themselves into a form of human, and Sir Gendron appeared in front of the party. Gendron recognized Vaughn and accidentally revealed to everyone the secret that Vaughn had been keeping, that he is actually the heir to the sovereignty of Granitegard. The knight promised the party that he could raise the granite wall for them, thus allowing the passage into Granitegard. However, he was very embarrassed to tell them that he needed to perform a task for him before he would do so. He needed them to return a locket that had been clutched in his hand to his wife. This would grant him closure, actually grant both of them closure, and allow his soul to finally rest after 12 long years of being trapped down in this passageway. But of course, the task would be anything but simple, as the locket had been stolen by a thief about a year prior. Sir Gendron, having never had to use his ghostly abilities before, accidentally drove the thief mad, and this poor thief ended up getting eaten by a terrible creature calling itself the Collector. Hearing the name, the party instantly remembered the creature they had first encountered so long ago in the shambles on their first visit down to rescue the children that had been kidnapped by the goblins. The party was torn, however, on how to proceed. Part of the party wanted to take the tower to give themselves a base of operations, at Sir Gendron's insistence on that. The other half of the party wanted to just go ahead and head on out and try to take care of the Collector. But discovering that the young man, Pavis, seemed to be under some duress, the party decided to proceed to try to rescue him. Using Sir Gendron's ghostly abilities, they were able to reduce the odds in the tower from around 39 thieves down to about 25. However, Captain Theot and the remaining thieves remained at the top of the tower, waiting in ambush for them. And as the party got to the top of the tower, the ambush was sprung. Now, this is where we're picking up this evening in the midst of the chaos. So let's go ahead and bring ourselves up to speed on that. At this point, we're at the top of the round. The Captain Theot had just quaffed a potion, and a storm cloud had kind of erupted out of it, kind of belched a little bit of lightning. Damon had taken a vicious attack from Captain Theot, and for the first time, Damon displayed actual fear and backpedaled away from the danger. Although the party has not had time to really dwell on the impact of what this means, they are rushing to the aid of their friend. Speaking of rushing, the Reverend quaffed a fire-breathing potion and ran around and incinerated one man and scared another man to death and made the third man soil his drawers and surrender. I do believe at this point Vaughn has come out with the pizzas and was wondering what was happening, the chaos.
Yeah, a shot and a mist.
Ensuing around him, and Sir Gendron, you have switched bodies back to your original body, I believe, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Skeech got to blow up several individuals and are going to go ahead and pick back up there in combat right now. So, the top of the round belongs to Echo and Sky. What are your actions?
Okay. How far away am I from Theot at the moment?
To get to Theot, you would have to try to get through Vaughn, Anna, Mary, two thieves, and a whole bunch of boxes.
It's easy.
You
Can I
are
get there
actually
in 80?
closer to the side where Reverend is. Over here on this side, which does lead around to where Theot is over here. So here's you, here's the Reverend, there's the dead people over
Okay.
here in that spot.
I have 40 feet of movement, 80 if I dash. So I'll just try and get into combat with him.
Do you want Sky to proceed with you?
Yes, she has
Okay.
50 movement. If she dashes 100.
Let's go ahead and bring them around there. Happy helper? Yeah, we're gonna come around the far side. So they're gonna be 80 feet of movement for Echo and 100 feet of movement for Sky.
Reverend direction, correct?
Reverend's direction. You can just count the squares, that should be a little bit easier. I'm gonna be cutting that later on.
I can go through.
No,
them.
foreshadowing.
Who knows? I mean, you never know what's in store down the road there.
You
We do
knows.
know that eventually that
You
you are gonna
knows.
probably have to face off against the Collector.
Is that one still?
That one has surrendered and is dropped
What
to the
is
ground.
a
I leapfrog over him on my movement, and when I get to him,
Get
that's
to
as
him.
far as I get with 80?
40.
Oh yeah, I have 80, so I'll keep going. So that is my action. With my bonus action, I will use my Blossom of Vines ability, and you just see Echo's Kopesh start to grow over with plant matter and thorny vines as he has his shield out in his face. If you could put Sky on his other side too, flanking with me.
Okay, because he has 24 more feet of movement than you do.
And I'm just ready to go, keeping him locked in with me.
Alright, so the vines was a saving throw on that, please.
I'm not using it yet,
Okay.
so I just have it up.
You have it prepped and ready, okay,
Yeah.
roger that, alright. And that is going to bring us to Theot's action. So Theot stamps his foot down and that cloud of lightning basically erupts from around his feet and
Oh.
he literally charges forward like a bolt of lightning through his thieves that he yeets to both sides. Go ahead and move them 5 feet to either side of him. And
Oh, talk about
That's
a work
cold.
environment.
yeah, they both take damage from the
I think it's
impact.
electrified.
Little toxic.
Is he moving away from me?
He is moving away from you.
I will take my opportunity attack.
Girl.
Guardian. That is a 24 to hit,
24 strikes.
and he cannot move, so he is stuck with me.
Ow, ow.
And that'll be 10 slashing damage.
10 slashing damage, and
And
that
I
is
just rip him into his ankle. And because this is an attack, he now must make a strength saving throw.
Nice.
Nice.
Needs to
Yeah.
be 13.
13. He easily beats 13 on that.
That's okay, he still can't move. So I just hook him in the back of the ankle as he tries to run.
All right, so you hooked him in the back, basically hooked him in the back of the ankle as he tries to turn. Now he pivots towards you,
It's the goal.
and he is going to strike the ground in front of him. You need to give me a dexterity-based saving throw. You can use your acrobatics if you desire. That is 18.
I need to beat an 18.
18, meter beat.
I got a 17.
17, all right. You were catapulted back 15 feet.
Oh,
and you
no.
take 14 points of damage from that. And he looks at you and says, "Fool! I will deal with you in a minute."
That's okay.
And then pivots back
6
around
rounds.
to face.
Good.
All right,
10
and
rounds.
10, yeah.
we now move down to Damon.
Okay, the guy that's near Skeech, is he still near Pavis?
Yes.
I'm gonna head over that direction. Can I
It looks
leap?
like he's coming around.
Can I leap over the boxes to get around
Athletics.
Vaughn?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
It's a very low check. It's 12.
14.
14. Given the blood loss that you've had on that, it's not your most impressive acrobatic feat, but nonetheless, you don't have any trouble getting over it. Just not quite as amazing as you possibly wanted to make that look. But again, over the top of the boxes is all that matters at that point, and cover the distance between you and Skeech.
To the guy, I would like to stab him in the side so that he does not mess with Pavis again, since Pavis is the entire issue why we're up here.
That is going to be a wow, dude, that's nasty. He has no defense whatsoever on that. So critical on that.
What?
Yeah, you're going to have advantage on that and be able to basically, yeah, he's got no ability. Basically, at this point, he is literally stunned, just standing there, ready to fall over if he doesn't recover fast.
Well, that was a natural 20.
Oh. A big ouch.
So that will be a critical.
Yay!
Vaughn's gonna be mad at you.
You see Skeech just like.
Oh no! Oh no!
How do you roll? How do you use crits again?
Again, you're going to take on your initial damage die. You're going to max out the first one.
Okay.
And then roll for the next.
So I'm gonna roll for my sneak attack, or
Yes.
Those are
Oh,
the first sneak attack dice were still maxed.
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. So I only roll my second sneak attack dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be
I-
crunchy and disgusting.
Yes.
But also remember, to the audience, when I get to do this back to them, it's the same thing.
Sure is.
Yes.
That's going to be 19 points of damage.
19 points of damage. So, where did you stab him again?
Oh, right in the side,
Right
right
in
in
the
his
side.
ribs.
In the soul.
Yeah.
I like grab him and I stab
Like,
him.
like a surgeon, essentially, the blade slips through the ribcage,
That's really
and the man does not even realize that he has been killed. It is that fast and that efficient that his heart is stopped and basically cleaved in two, lights out and done. And literally, he just, before you can really hold him too much, he's already dropping through your hands to the ground, and there is nothing to hold him up. And he is dead. Any other actions that you're taking this round?
No, that'll be it.
Alright. We move down to the thieves, and as Echo has been blasted back there, the two thieves, the dagger thief and the other gentleman there just to the right of him, this guy and this guy, they are going to close the gap on Echo and launch their attacks.
I realize I'm proficient in deck save, so I would have saved that, but it's okay.
Oops.
Yep.
We'll have to drive on forward. It's okay, I sometimes nerf my dudes every now and then. It happens.
Thoughts and prayers.
That is the joy of playing the game. So anyway, they are able to close the distance on you there, and I have a 10 and I have a 14.
Those both miss.
All right. It's because you're kind of swaying, blades just missed past you on that. You see what's happening on one and block that. The other one again is a wide swing. That is their actions this round. That is going to move us down to Sir Gendry.
Those guys in front of me, are those bad guys?
They would all three be very bad people.
Well, I'm gonna walk up and hit one.
You're gonna what are you gonna hit him with?
Yes, I'm gonna hit him with my maul.
Hit him with your maul?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, ha ha, just like old times. Ooh. That is going to be a 9.
9. All right.
Just like old times.
Unfortunately, again, this is, you're not quite used to driving this body just yet. As you raise the ball up, you bring it down, and you slam it in the floor in front of the thief. And his eyes are very wide as the wood splinters shatter in front of him, and he takes a step back like, oh.
Hold on, let me try again.
Stand still, young man.
Wait.
He's shaking his head as you say that.
Alright, so that is a 26.
Oh, okay,
That just beats his ace.
That was a ranging
This
shot.
one-
That
Yeah,
Right, so you bring the first down and you hit the floor in front of him, and again the wood splinters shatter up onto the ground. As he starts to backpedal, he's kind of losing a little bit of his balance. You bring them all up and around and connect with this guy, and roll your damage.
Okie dokes. And I've got Blessed Weapon going, so. Ooh. That is going to be 16 damage. Yes.
So, what does it look like when you hit him?
All right. Well, I just take my hammer out and I just. And I swing it all the way around and I just dent his helmet so bad it's never coming off again. Basically.
You've just
Again,
added
how much
mass to
damage was that again?
the
It was 16 damage.
16%
yes.
damage. All right. As you attempt to dent his helmet, it's. Have you ever played pool and you strike one ball with another ball?
Oh.
It's kind of the same thing that happens as you bring the hammer around and the head separates from the body and just the hammer keeps, the ball keeps on swinging. and it goes that way over the top, past Anna, and lands on the ground, kind of where Skeech and Damon are standing.
Batter up.
Oh my god.
This body has some oomph to it.
This guy's so cool.
The other two thieves see what happens, and we'll get to their turn now, as a matter of fact. So the thief that is the closest is going to use his entire movement speed to disappear this way. And the other one charges at Sir Gendron with his sword. If I can see that, that'd be better.
Big mistake.
With a 14.
That doesn't hit.
Alright, it glances off your armor. As the blade, tip of the blade hits, it just kind of skids past the armor itself.
Mm.
And he looks very confused and kind of sad at that moment. That was his best attempt that he had right there.
That was my armor, young man.
I'm sorry about that, sir. Mary, you're up.
All right. Can you point to where I am on the map, please?
You are right over here. You have two thieves directly in front of you.
Okay. So first thing, I'm going to cast Divine Protection on myself, which raises my AC to 20. And then I'm going to shield bash this person in front of me.
Get him.
Damn. Nah, I'm just kidding.
It was another ranging shot.
12 is the number to meter beat on.
Yep, it was a 7.
That was a 7. Alright, so as you've been parrying all those blows with your shield, and then you go to swing your shield around on that, unfortunately, just a little bit shy as you bring it around, because you've kind of been keeping in tight and parrying, just a little bit short of bringing that forward.
Yeah, that'd be too cool.
Any other any other actions that you
Tell me.
I believe that is all I can do for now.
Alright. This moves over to a special action, and
Oh no.
you see Theot there, and it raises his shield, and his sword begins bashing them together. And as he's doing so, he begins reciting something, and he screams at the top of his lungs. He's like, "I am the shield that will not yield! Bam! My body is the unbreakable stone! Bam! I am the sword that strikes true! And my enemies will fall before me!" And points over at you, Mary, at this point.
Oh.
And you see him hunker back down again, and the light begins to build up around it.
Oh,
And
fun
that is the
times.
action for this particular round. For that, we move over to Skeech.
Get him, boy.
So first, I am the goblin who has yielded. There's a pile of dead bodies around me, so I'm gonna meander through that. If I could just like kick that random head down the stairs since the door's still open. Don't want anybody to slip on that. And can I just make my way to the back of the party next to Vaughn there?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and move Skeech over.
Just put up a sign that says caution severed head.
And what do I see through that hallway of metal and people?
A bunch of legs.
Perfect. I'm gonna prime one of my bombs, and I'd like to roll it through all those legs.
Who are you aiming it for?
The back of the legs.
Oh, the legs at the far back?
Yeah. The ones, the non-friendly looking legs. The unfamiliar legs.
They call this
Bad
goblin
legs.
botching.
Oh, that's interesting. Go ahead and let's give that an AC of 14.
Okay. So that is going to hit with a 16.
All right.
And there will be a 15-foot radius explosion around that.
It's going to be centered on the two of them, so let's look at 15 feet and around the two.
So the one that it impacted can take 12 points of fire damage. And then it's going to be a dexterity saving throw.
All right. Mary, you're going to need to do a dex saving throw as well.
No, some goblin weirdness happens, and the blast doesn't seem to affect Mary.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So
We could
1
learn
and
from
4. And
Thank goodness
That's-
for goblin.
yeah, they fail.
So the ones that, or anyone who was in there that was not the direct target will take 6 fire damage.
So, the one that is the direct target, how much damage do they take?
They take 12.
12 points. So the one on the left disappears, and the shockwave from the explosion has a terrible effect on the human body, considering that we're considerably mostly made of water. It kind of and is gone.
Is that one close to Captain Theot?
Well, Captain Theot's over here, so he just gets some spray. The area is kind of painted with what was once a thief. The other thief suffers 6 points of damage and staggers backward, and is looking very, very poor and charred at this point, and surprised. Kind of looking like Wile E. Coyote when he gets the box that blows up in his face.
Are the boxes affected by the blast?
There is damage to the boxes. They are on fire currently.
Okay.
I would like to then turn to Vaughn and go, did I get him?
Very good. Very, very good.
Okay, I got a couple more of these. I'll start rifling through my bag, and that's going to be the end of my turn.
All right.
Hold on, let me ask. Was the person who got misted within 15 feet of Captain Theot?
Yes.
What if he wasn't misted?
What do you mean?
I'd like to use my maledict to reconstitute that bad guy.
Oh man, what's happening?
Alright, so the explosion goes off, and again, the shockwave blasts the body apart, and as its blood and pieces parts are spraying out everywhere, they kind of hit about 15 feet out and hover in the air for a brief moment. As you see, Vaughn, describe what you're doing your action, please.
Holding it out, actively bleeding from the eyes and nose. It was a really good job, Skeech.
Are you doing the dead guy thing?
At this point, you see all of it kind of back in, and what does this individual look like at this point?
A ramshackle version of what they used to look like. They were not put back together correctly. It was a ramshackle job entirely.
Much assembly required.
Yeah, it's currently leaking a lot of fluids out of places that they should be sealed up. Some pieces may not exactly have been where the manufacturer had intended them to go.
I think he's a marked
And,
improvement, actually.
It is quite a horrifying visage.
Very, very good job. And it will take half of its movements, and it will go over towards Captain Theot.
The one guy that just got blasted sees this happen, and his reaction resulted in a red die.
Oh no.
And he just starts screeching uncontrollably.
Do I notice him freaking out?
You could see him partially through Mary's screeching.
I point to him. Next.
He doesn't even look at you. He doesn't even register what you said. Right now he is staring at what's happening in front of him too, a guy he used to hang out with. So what does this disgusting thing do?
Takes half of its movements, and it goes and makes an attack with a +4 to its hit and damage.
So it's going after the friend, or is it going after Theot?
Theot.
All right. So that'd be 15 feet of movement. Closes the gap, and a 21 is the number to beat.
Okay.
Since this is your abomination.
What's its plus?
Nice.
What's its
You said +4, you said?
on top of it?
Oh, on top of it, that's disgusting.
What are you going to name it?
You were going to have a total of +6.
That's my boy.
Yes.
Oh no,
All
my
right.
boy.
Given the fact that this thing is poorly constructed and, missing some original parts, it swings and misses.
Are you flanking with Sky?
Is it flanking with Sky?
I think it is.
I can't tell.
It's directly in front of him. Like they're facing each other. Like eyeball to eyeball, looking at each other.
Oh.
So, Sky is the one that's off to the side.
Never mind.
And,
Where's this glare?
Yeah.
okay, I think that kind of
Check
brings
the
up what you were able to
CCTV.
do this round, right?
It's your turn.
Okay. We move over to Anna at this point, I believe.
Great. I would like to. Is there any way I could squeeze past Mary with difficult terrain or anything like that? If not, that's fine. I have.
The boxes directly in front of you are on fire. Mary is standing there with all kinds of chaos that has occurred around her. But, I mean, if you've got some sort of cool kid way you want to vault yourself over those boxes, I'll let you make a roll on that.
Yeah.
You seem like the type
Yeah.
of gal who goes
Oh,
through the
that's
boxes.
That's true. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I just try and
Go ahead and give me an athletics check on that.
Great.
Yeah.
I've weakened their
This would be
structural
the
integrity
coolest.
for you.
If you make this roll.
Okay, it's a 9.
Nine. All right.
It's a- I know.
As you slam into the boxes, they kind of get knocked over, and it hits the ground, and the fire kind of spreads out that
Yep.
way. But it just not quite enough to get where you need to go, unfortunately, on that. You
Bummer.
think mostly it's because of the fact that the smoke kind of wafted up. You're like, as you get into the boxes, they're like,
Yep.
turn it.
Really thought that
Anything
was
else you
gonna
got
work.
going on this round?
So that was that my movement, or was that like an action to?
That's going to be an action.
Okay, that's right. Okay, cool. Yep. Then I'm just gonna back up out of the smoke and be, and that'll be it.
Right where
Yeah.
you kind of started things off. Right?
Yep.
Smoke actually rises if you come down here. It's not so bad.
That's all right, Anna. These are fine
It's all
cedar
crawl.
boxes.
Yeah.
So, thieves.
Army crawl through these boxes.
What am I doing?
Let's see here.
Right.
The
Should have just hit him.
crossbow thief and this guy are going to take a shot that direction over at Mary. And Mary, as you stand there, you're not even trying to parry at this point. You're taking your swing, and the two arrows just right over you.
That's
and
what I thought.
Stick in the boxes back behind Vaughn. And that is their attack at this point. Moving on to the Reverend.
All right. After my performance last time, where I smacked two of my foes, I still running full tilt. How far can I get?
At this point, you have 30 feet worth of movement currently at this point.
I think that'll get me to that first gentleman by the corner there, but not to the two ones that got blasted by Theot, right?
Theot's people. Theot is over here. If you're looking at, you see Theot's right there. These are the two that are trying to stab and kill Echo currently.
I can't get to them.
It looks like you're within 5 feet of one and what, 15 feet of the other.
All right. The one that I am within 5 feet of, I take out my little bell again. Ding, 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 ding.
Sandwich.
This bell tolls for you, son. He'll have to make his wisdom save.
14 even on that.
Beats it.
Beats it. All right. And
All right. So then I'm gonna spend one of my Bardic Inspiration die on myself because I'm selfish, and I take my rapier, turn it around, and stab it into the ground. And time slows for everyone but us. And I'm gonna use my shell game, so I get to move my little pieces around the board. I get 4 of you get to 4 of you get to move. You get 5 hit points, so I'm gonna take the ones that are near me, which is gonna be Echo.
5 real hit points or 10?
Temporary hit points.
Okay.
Echo, Anna, Mary, and Vaughn will get 5 temporary hit points. I can't see you.
No one can.
And they're going to be able to take their full movement speed right now with no opportunity attacks.
Wow.
even if they've already moved this round.
Yes.
Amazing.
That sucks.
So as time is slowed for all the thieves and Theot, I'm moving my pieces around the game. Folks, this is what I call my shell game.
I approve.
I'm gonna move right back towards Theot and go, I'm a blue shell.
Wow. Okay. All right, there, Mario.
It's Echo.
Anybody else? Where are we doing with the other players? Where they moving?
I would really
Whatever
like
they want.
to get to Theot, so whatever I need to do, can I move that direction? Amazing.
Anna, what are you doing?
Great. I'm gonna fall right after Mary.
Y'all
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the gang up on it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
mess
Will.
him up. Yeah.
Sorry, Will. I've been sitting on this for like 4 sessions.
It is all good.
Well, I'm just trying to I've been trying to get to him this whole friggin' session, so
Tell him.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All these boxes and people in my way.
It looks pretty crowded around Theot, am I correct?
It's pretty
It's
crowded.
pretty crowded
I'd like to use
around
my
here.
full movement to climb as high as I possibly can in this room.
Nice, nice.
I want to get on some boxes.
And I yell over the din as I'm moving my pieces around and concentrating on the magic. Theot, keep your eyes on the prize, cause I'm coming for you, son.
All right. That would bring us back around because you utilized your actions to do that, or is that a reaction that you had?
That was just reaction.
That's amazing. All right. Go ahead and, Reverend, I do believe you're currently complete, right?
Yeah, that's my turn.
Vaughn, then it is up to you at this point.
Amazing. Can I see more? Can I see everyone from where I'm currently at? I'm on some boxes now. I can't see.
From where you are, you would be able to see Theot, Anna, Mary, your disgusting abomination.
At the start.
Couple of thieves, Gendron. Yep, that's about it from there. And of course, Damon and those guys back over that way.
I know we're on opposing sides, but I can't help but feel a little bit guilty about this. And all of the stored energy from the abomination that I've created re-explodes as it missed all over Theot. There's no damage, but he can only hold it for
Is that
one
on
round.
us too?
Yeah. Anybody within the 15-foot radius is like a water balloon going on. Except that's not water.
Wait, do I
So
get to see
time
him
stopped.
explode a
You
second
got
time?
like a boost of speed, like the Flash.
No,
and then
I don't believe Skeech can see it from where he
missed
is.
in your face.
I believe the boxes would be blocking it. But from where you are, what you can see over the top of the boxes is the
Oh.
and stuff is dripping down out of the ceiling. Off the ceilings, I guess. is
I'm
what
sorry.
described.
Are you though?
Did I shoot Captain Theot?
What's that?
I'd like to shoot Captain Theot.
Oh, on top of that, you're gonna add some insult to injury.
Yeah, maybe he's
Or injury to
maybe he
insult,
can't
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
That would be a 23 at this point.
No. No.
Oh,
Quite
it's
the
a one.
opposite, friend.
Oh, delightful.
No.
Maybe if I use your dice tray. It's not red.
Oh, okay.
We're safe.
All right. Because of the spray that you're firing, unfortunately, it just obscured the view just enough. That
It's in
bolt
my eyes.
passes and strikes into the box over his shoulder without even noticing the shot that you made. At this point, he's just kind of like got the windshield wipers going on as the stuff's coming off in his helmet there.
Yeah, I call them better luck next time. Whoever did that calls the bolt back.
All right. This would technically be the top of the round, but at this moment, the entire momentum of the room shifts. And the thieves all, at this point, step back and away and begin kind of backing up. And you hear swords and shields and clubs begin to drop and hit the floor. Within 10 seconds time, you guys have annihilated how many people in this room? Blown one dude up, sucked him back together again, and then blown him back up again.
Right.
You have vomited fire on people, have scared one man to death. Another dude just got totally just lickety-split dead by your assassin there. And they're like, oh, look, wait, with the way, we just had to do these things. And they begin to like backing off like really quick like.
They're like, we
And-
thought we were the bad guys.
Yeah, Pavis is sitting there nodding his head like, yeah, all right. He's like, make sure you surrender real well to them. They'll treat you good. And Theot's looking around the room at this point at the fact that his men are basically abandoning him, and he's like, unlike these scabs here, I know what it means to serve a higher power. I will not surrender to you lot. I was chosen by the Dark Queen. You think I left that city after 7 years and didn't pick up something special? He's like, you may have these men here. And he reaches over to the blood spot there on the ground. As he touches his hand on that, you can see the blood sucking back up off the ground. It kind of coils up the arm and into the armor itself. And from inside the armor, there's a bit of a push that begins to happen on the plates there.
Oh my
And he's like, he snaps his neck a little bit. He can feel the creaking of bones. He's like, now we'll see what's going on. You brought your little food play here. Sep's been looking for you down south. Well, when I bring your head on a pike, she'll be quite happy. Kind of funny you delivered yourself to my doorway. And Ain't nobody else moves like that but a blade. That means I know who you is.
Over the boxes. Sep ain't gonna get to him because I got a conversation to have with her that she is not gonna enjoy.
Talk a lot there, fancy man. Nice little rags. I'll be sure to use those to shine my armor with. And combat reinitiates at this point with a new round of rolling.
Whoa.
You guys have.
Thanks for noticing. I do talk a lot.
All right, I've got my roll down. Go ahead and let's start off with yours. Do I have anybody between 21 and 25?
Nap 20. Flaming skull, baby.
Get it.
Reverend's smack talking does put him at the top of the round, it seems, at this point. Anybody else?
What was it?
He has a nat 20.
I have a 26.
You have a 26.
Wow, okay.
I'm going to put you
Oh, man.
after that. So, Damon, you're the second of the party to go.
20.
20.
Still on with me.
And anybody else got around 20? Anyone in there?
I've got an 18.
18. Okay, so Vaughn.
I inspired you. I like to.
So, moving down, we have an 18. Anybody else around the 18 mark there?
17.
Okay, so we're going to go Gendron. We're going to go Echo and Sky. And moving back down from that, what does Mary, Anna, what are we looking at?
10.
10?
8.
14.
14?
Oh, nice.
Anybody else that we're missing at this point? Nope.
Oh.
So we're going to do Skeech. And we got Mary. And Anna is, you know.
We saved the best for last, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you wanna-
Mine
this
is
would
under
be,
initiative.
you know, Reverend, Theot,
Oh.
Damon, Vaughn, Special Action, Gendron, Echo and Sky, Special Action, Skeech, Mary, and Anna.
Are they really
And
special if
Reverend.
he has
Yeah, just
so
quick
many?
question.
though?
You have so many. Can I have one of those special actions?
Yeah.
If you were special,
Oh, I think you're special.
driving
I know.
on. I'm sorry, that was me. But he did send himself up for it. I had to deliver.
That's payback for beef jerky, man, isn't it?
All right, so Reverend, you are just done with your smack talking. He throws a little bit of shade back at you there. What are you doing, sir?
So this whole time, I've just been like booking it around the corner there. So as I see the guy that I had just like tried to murk with my death knell give up, I give him a look like, good idea, son. And I keep running around to like swing around so that I can get a clear shot on Theot. So his back is to me. And I say, Theot, this is for you. And I breathe my fire. So that will be just a spell attack. Well, gosh, that's a 20! That is a nat 20.
2 in a row.
So this does 4d6 fire damage.
Go ahead and inflict your fire damage on that.
How does the crit work?
So that's an automatic 24 and then plus 46 on top of it.
Okay. So that is going to be 9 plus 8, 15. Or not, what's 9 plus
So
8?
that would be
17.
39? Oh, yeah, 30,
31.
31?
Yeah.
41.
Oh, 41.
41.
Yeah.
41
Yeah.
points of damage.
Yeah.
So just the biggest gout of flame just whooshes out on him.
So, Reverend, as you begin to belch the fire at him, all of this hate that has been burning inside of you, this rage, literally spills itself out and channels itself into that gout of flame. And rather than bursting out, it's almost like this tight conical attack. Except from this way, it's focused, and it just drills him, and you can see it slagging into the armor itself like that. The paint that he had on there, and the crest and the sticker begins to burn away on that, and it just, the metal is glowing, and there's a scream of rage and pain from Theot there. And he drops to the knee for 1 second, and then pushes himself back up again, and you can see smoke coming out from inside of the armor.
Does a gap in his armor open up from the...
No, unfortunately it does not, but it does superheat it. So it's kind of like, one of those Dutch oven type of actions.
It doesn't matter. I run up behind him with my rapier, and I stab him in the back, or I try to.
All right. 23 is the armor class on that.
It's not. That's a 2.
2. All right. After you exhale that flame, you're feeling super jazzed. You're like, tink, and you just watch your rapier and flex. Now it is designed to bend. It doesn't break, but it doesn't really do anything with it. You're like, oh, anticlimactic.
Echo looks over at you and just kind of.
It doesn't usually do that.
Is there anything else that you're doing this round on that?
It was a roller coaster. I'm done.
Alrighty then. Theot turns around and looks over at the Reverend there.
Yeah.
And he looks at you and he's like, no, you will die. And see that 18. There you go. That is going to be a 25.
25.
Yes.
Nothing I can do about that.
And it gets
Shield ain't
you
gonna save me.
for 33 points of damage.
33 points of damage.
33 points of damage.
I'm gonna use my guardian reaction and go, now you will die, and attack him back.
23 is the armor class to beat.
Nope, I miss.
Okay. As you see Echo reach out to try to block the blow, his blade comes swinging up, and it just misses. And Theot strikes the Reverend here. You actually watch the blade push in, the shoulder bones, everything crack in this horrible sound. And the look of how wonderful his face was for the fire gout that he had is wiped clean as you see his eyes roll back in his head. And he actually exhales blood in his gout and falls backwards to the ground. Go ahead and give me your first death save.
I do now. Okay.
Oh no.
As
no.
all right.
That's such a big die.
Death save. Or that's a fail.
That's a fail. First failure on the death save there. And Reverend is out of commission. We move down to Damon at this point. Damon, you don't know what's happened at the boxes over there right now, but you can hear a gasp from your friends that can see what's happening.
Okay.
Reverend didn't even get to exhale any kind of ouch or anything.
As
Got
my
got.
as my bonus action, I want to use Fleet Feet to dash, and I'm wondering if I can jump those, not the boxes that Vaughn is on, but the boxes next, so like the where the little hallway is. I want to see if I can jump them.
Acrobatics, please.
Watch out, they're tough.
17.
17 is enough to definitely get where you need to go. 16 was the number for you to beat given your physical condition. And it was so impressive that Vaughn was even knocked off his feet on that.
He's having a bad day.
So we'll just put Vaughn and know that he's up on the boxes there. How about that? Just put him wherever we can stabilize him. There we go. Works for me. And up and over the top, you see Damon land on his feet. Front of his armor is blood soaked, and no more fluid seems to be coming out at this point. But again, there's this gash on his armor there. Damon, what else are you doing at this point? I believe you still have movement with that Fleet Feet, correct?
I definitely don't want to get in range of him for sure. How far away is he from me?
About 15.
I want to see if I can scale the other boxes so that I'm not in his range because I don't want him to charge.
Okay, you can get up on the top of the boxes that are right there.
Okay.
That's another acrobatics check, please. This one is less of a DC because you're not doing the flips and craziness over the top of them.
8.
8. As you're panicking, looking at Theot, you like kind of try to climb up, then you slip back down. Kind of embarrassing. Not the heaviest, not your best skill action as far as that goes. Again, rather embarrassing that occurred there.
Seriously.
But you're standing next to those boxes like, man, these seem really hard. Like Ron said.
Do I have any more movement?
At this point, you pretty much burned up your movement, trying to
All
hop
right.
over boxes and climb the next set.
I'm going to take one of my daggers. I'm going to take, because I have 3. I have the 2 special ones that I got. I'm going to take one of my old ones, though, and I'm just going to chuck it at him.
Okay, his back is turned to you, because he had spun around to get the reference.
Sweet. That won't do anything.
That is a 23.
23 exactly.
So, Damon,
Your friend was in danger.
he is distracted, so that would technically be a sneak attack, I believe.
Okay.
I thought you guys were friends.
It's a big moment right now.
13 points of damage.
13 points of damage?
Nice.
All right. All right. And moving us down to Vaughn at this point. I believe that's the last of your actions, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the Reverend is down right next to Theot.
Right next to Theot.
How far away is Theot from Vaughn?
About 15 feet, I believe. Plus some height, you're kind of up at an angle. About 15, 20 feet.
Cool. Sweet. Amazing. Hop down, close the gap. I want to kind of stand up and over Rev. I don't have enough to get him out of there, but I can be between Rev and Theots and make some attacks.
You were going to have to do an athletics check because you're going to leap off the boxes and land on the top of wherever it is.
Allow
Hopefully
acrobatics.
not. What's that?
Allow acrobatics.
Absolutely on that. Just don't land on Reverend.
It's a 7.
7. All right. Vaughn leaps up and over the boxes and does not land on Reverend. But unfortunately, when you hit the ground there, you lose your footing.
I'm on Theot's shoulders.
You're standing right next to the Reverend there. But you lost your footing. You are down on one knee.
Where'd he go?
You recover and stand back up, but your movement is now done. And that's where you are.
Cool. Attack with my rapier.
All right. You are outside of reach at this point.
I shake it at him heavily. And I use my other hand and I shoot him with my crossbow.
That one will reach. I mean, you can always throw your blade at him, but
It misses.
it misses. All right.
It does.
What's the
18.
18? It does not miss. What it does is it strikes, ting, and just bounces off the armor there. Did hit, but unfortunately the armor itself absorbed the blow on that. And any other actions that you have this round?
No.
Okay, we move down to a special action. And Sir General, you're up.
Theot, do you recognize my voice?
And as Gendron calls from over, way over there like that, smoke is still kind of pouring out of some of the armor and things. And he's got a dagger sticking out of his back. He cranks over that direction real quick. He's like, oh hell.
Your court date's here, Theot.
He was parole officer.
But there's no judge, no jury.
And that was the only reaction you could see was to look back over at the armor, and then those that were close enough to their care, they oh.
My unmistakable brogue. I'm going to use all of my movement, and I believe I'll have to use my dash too.
60 feet for the dash, yeah?
Yes, so I'm going to go into a running slide next to the Reverend.
So 60 feet, it's got to move him over.
Steve
Got where he
cared
is.
about me.
Yes, and I'll remind, and so that's the only thing I can do this round. But anyone within 10 feet of me is in my aura of protection, so they're going to get a +4 bonus to any saving throw.
Can he make it to Reverend, or he have to?
Silence fast.
Is it an ally?
Yeah.
It's half movement speed through now.
So that would cut down 5 feet out of the 10. So it would have been 60, so you would have had 55 feet of movement at that point.
All right. Excuse me.
All right, and that allows you to position yourself between the Reverend and,
Yes, yes.
okay, and your aura, you can see from where Ginger is standing, this glow of brilliant light radiates up and off of him, and you can see where it actually encompasses those around you. Those of you that are around it that is actually affecting, it almost like it paints them a little bit in that white, that little transparent glow. Any other actions that you have this round? Do you believe that's your movement?
Yes,
Correct?
no bonus actions here, so
Okay.
that'll be it.
And that would take one of your charges, I believe. Correct? Aura?
Yes, actually, the aura's just always on.
Oh,
It's just a paladin thing.
That's why I always double check, just to make sure on that.
Yeah.
Just a paladin.
Hashtag just a paladin.
It's just a P thing. You wouldn't. All right,
Paladin
so
life.
No,
Ain't
not
no
that.
thing, but
we have Echo and
Just a
Sky
paladin.
are up.
So Echo goes as if he's going to start to swing, but as he sees the Reverend just get destroyed. He whistles for Sky to, Sky, get him! And he will turn and go over to the Reverend and just pull one of the good berries out of his bag and just ironically huck it into his throat.
Yes.
That'll bring you back up with 1 hit point, and that'll be my action. But Sky is going
So you're not hucking it, you're actually shoving it down his throat
Yes.
and like making his
For
mouth
comedic
move.
effect, I'm really good at aiming, so.
Okay.
Would this be a literal taste of his own medicine?
Yes.
Taste of your own medicine,
But
Very,
Sky,
very sarcastic and insulting, so,
Yeah.
Sky is going to attempt
seems
to
like lies.
go for the legs.
Okay.
Those are 2 12s, so that'll be a 17.
And that's athletics or acrobatics?
That's an attack roll.
Yeah, but I believe isn't there a save or anything on that?
Does it need to hit for the save to trigger?
Yeah, it has to hit.
Does a 17 hit?
20, still in that round. So this is the last round of 23.
Okay, so nothing happens.
Alright, Sky bites down, but just can't complete the task, unfortunately, on that. The armor is just really tough and his legs are really thick and it just starts to shake and nothing seems to happen on it. He's a bad dog.
She doesn't
And,
understand.
Any other actions or something you have? Anything you're doing?
Nope, that is everything.
Alright, so instigating a second special action now. He is going to. Sky has bitten into his leg, and Gendron is in front of him. Echo is within movement there. So. Yeah, everybody's within range of that. Alright. Reaches again and slams the ground, and that same kind of cloudy thing with the lightning pulses up and off of him and begins to throw everybody backwards. You need to give me a dexterity-based save.
Who's in the aura?
In the aura would be Gendron, Echo, and Reverend.
Anyone within 10 feet of me, but I don't get it. Only my friends.
Sky, and Anna.
And that's a +4.
Okay.
I rolled a
Oh
6
my god.
with his. Oh no, a 6. So a 10.
10 failed.
I also failed.
Sweet.
Back to this.
What do we need, a 17?
Yep.
We need a 17 or an 18?
17.
I got a 15, so
15
I
failed.
failed, Sky succeeds.
22.
22.
Oh,
Alright.
yep, that failed.
The wave passes over you, Vaughn, and you feel the static make all the hair stand up on your body, but you watch as your friends are knocked back and away, so they're pushed back, each one of them 10 feet. Except for Vaughn. Vaun does not get moved back. And then Gendron go flying back as well, then Anna also. Anna, did you save or?
Oh no, I got 6 on the die, so
Anna goes
9
back.
total for me.
Alright, as he punches that last of that, and it hits the ground, as the cloud begins to dissipate, you can see the rest of the lightning kind of off of his body at that point. And.
Do we take damage from that?
What's that?
Do we take
No,
damage?
they don't take any damage from it. They're just knocked back and away. And that clears everybody out from around him there. He still has a special action of holding. We move to Skeesh.
So Skeech doesn't have a great idea of anything that has happened in the
There's a
past 6
big
seconds.
boom from around the boxes there, and you see Anna come flying back.
So Skeech is still walking up with his little satchel looking for more bombs, so I'm going to take my 30 feet of movement to walk out there.
Ooh, turns back around.
I feel like Skeech has much different battle music going on. Just
And what do I see as I turn this corner?
You can see Theot standing back up, and as he's doing so, that cloud, that stormy cloud that was kind of on him before, now begins to dissipate, push away. You can see everybody kind of recovering, trying to get back their stability on that, and Theot looks to be preparing to do something.
And I will pull a familiar-looking orb out of the bag, look at what Theot is doing, and put that one back, and take out one that is a very different color. This one is mostly a all-steel container. and I will.
Am I gonna hate this?
I hope
It
so.
depends on what I roll, but maybe.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
And I'm going to empty out a little bit of the charge so I don't have a blast radius, and gonna huck it right at him. And that's going to be a 23.
That's not, not a natural 20. It's your bonus.
Nope, just enough.
All right. That is going to meet and beat the ability to hit him this round.
And that's going to be an impact bomb. So this is going to be force damage instead of fire.
That sucks.
And can I add this?
Yes.
That's why you have him.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry about that.
So he's going to be having to make me a saving throw as well. It's going to be a strength saving throw, which just roll bad.
Get 10?
So I am going to be able to push him 5 feet backwards as it impacts his chest, and the force
Actually, what
kind of
his
goes
chest,
back.
You actually hit him in the back, which catapults
Oh,
him
perfect.
forward. So push him 5 feet towards Vaughn, please.
And how much damage am I allowed to add with my gold coin?
The gold coin is a D8.
Perfect. Let me just grab another one of those. So that's going to be 13 force damage, and he has pushed the 5 feet.
As Skeech chucks the bomb and it strikes Theot, we'll have to wait to find out what happens. So join us here in about 15 minutes, and we'll find out what happens. Thank you very much.
Get it?
All right. So as we last left off there, Skeech hucks his little grenade over at Theot, and you see it tumbling through the air, and it lands right at the base where the helmet meets the armor, and it goes off, and there's this loud pop sound, and this shockwave begins to ripple off of it, and the helmet itself is lifted up and off of the Spin's head, but then it kind of catches, but the force continues to take the rest of it, and literally lifts the back part of this guy's skull up and off, and the back part of the armor is crushed into the front, and his gout of black fluid sprays forward all over Gendron, Vaughn, Echo, Reverend's body laying on the ground there, and Theot falls forward, and the armor hits the ground. It kind of shimmers for a brief moment, and then you can see this black fluid begin to running out of the armor.
I find you guilty.
All the thieves are sitting there looking around. I mean, all of them have dropped their weapons. They're like, "Oh, you actually killed him." And you can see a visible look of relief in a lot of these men's faces here. And they're like, look it, I know things look real bad here, but you've got to understand, when the wave came in, most of us didn't have much of an option. Those who stood up against them, they was killed. I mean, it is what it is here. So, bygones be bygones. And again, all these men have dropped the weapons, and they're all looking at you with actually pretty much terror in their eyes at this point.
Real quick, before we get into that, is Vaughn still over by Theot and where it's fallen?
Yes.
I'm going to transfer my rights from my crossbow onto the sword itself, and I'm just going to go for a clean double tap and see if I can essentially light that black blood on fire.
Yes, it does. Without much trouble at all, it erupts into very strange fire itself. It's not a red or orange flames. They are blue and green flames that are licking off this, a little bit of purple here and there within it.
I'm
The smell
eyeing this.
is disgusting. It really is a rotten, putrid odor of just sheer decay.
Can I go ahead and make an arcana?
Absolutely.
Does it have to do with undead?
You may make your check.
Me 24.
24. As you begin examining what you see there in front of you, this corruption that has infected him, that something has been done to him, definitely bolsters on the undead side of things. There was something that he'd been infused with.
Oh, what a shame. I remember when he was just a little boy who threw tomatoes.
I'm kind of like sitting on the ground.
Here, well, let's get you some real religion, Reverend. And I'm going to lay on hands for 39 hit points.
I beg your pardon? Oh, 39. I don't have nearly that many hit points.
Okay.
28 is, or 27 is the number you're looking for.
All right, I'll max you out then. Here it is. That's a real battle scar, Reverend.
General,
You should be
General
proud.
touches you, you could feel you have never experienced anything like that before. You feel the energy coursing through you. It really is a very religious experience for you on that. And as he does it, you kind of look over at Mary at this point.
Have you come to the one god?
And
For real?
You literally had a very strange experience. You do, when you were dropped there, it was this strange, surreal moment for you.
Was I going towards the light?
No.
Deep red light.
Uh-oh.
A strobe light, if you
Yeah.
will.
Mary, what do you mean? I've always been a man of the... I gotta sit down.
Again, the healing spells have, the healing magic has certainly aided your body in recovery on that, but you literally feel completely drained at this moment. All of the healing processes in your body have been super accelerated, which has drained so many calories out of your body, it's not even funny. Your lymphatic system is going a little bit haywire right now. You really need some rest. Damon still has a giant gash on his chest, which fortunately isn't leaking any longer, but yeah. You're
I can
feeling that.
go and heal Damon.
All right. And bring Damon back up again.
That's 12 hit points.
And that is exactly what you lost, Damon. So that takes care of things. And again,
Uh-huh.
much like the Reverend, that is a
Perfect.
significant amount of your body that has had to go back and accelerate to heal on there. So you were feeling also very drained at this moment as well.
Does anyone else need any holy healing?
I got beat up a little.
I have just thing for you, my friend, Echo, and this is on the house for saving my life. And that'll be, when you drink that, that will be a healing word. Which is what, a D4?
Uh-huh. And as you're doing that, Echo's just kind of wiping the black liquid off of his face.
7.
It has a very tarry viscosity.
Did any get in my mouth?
Would you like any of it?
Roll for mouth.
Oh, it's in my mouth!
Would you like any of it gotten in there? I was
No.
assuming you probably had your mouth closed. rather than
Yeah.
Like, ah!
Roll for mouth. Yep. Look,
But he'll look at Vaughn and go, "What did you find? Do you recognize what this is?"
No, I
This
don't.
is unholy.
It's certainly unholy. I don't recognize it necessarily, but the stench of undeath clings to it.
Whoever this queen is clearly dabbles in more dark arts than you do.
Question is, what are we gonna do with the rest of these men?
I got an idea.
Well, hey, if we could interject, if that's okay with you
No,
all.
it's not.
Okay.
What were you saying?
We'll hear the man out, and I'm just like kind of leaning up against the box.
He's just digging through his bag.
Go over to you. Get your shoulder.
Yeah, what do you have to say for yourselves? I hope you feel bad.
Oh, we feel awful about that, sir. Quite awful, I must say. That was a nice suit that you had there. My wife knows about mending. Yes? Yeah?
Is that's your offer?
Well, no, that's not exactly
How dare you think that I, the Reverend Goodberries, could be bribed?
Well, actually, that's not quite what I mean. The mending was just like a kind of a peace offering, if you don't mind, sir. You see, like, I think I speak for most of us here, and you can see the men kind of looking around at each other, couldn't figure out where is coming with this. It's like, again, most of us
principle,
didn't want to
it's
serve
society.
in the way, and it was kind of, that or die, and, death is not always the best thing for you on that. And we're here at this garrison tower, which is definitely outside of the city, away as most of it's whole. You know, we could help you staff this here, and you know, I mean, there's plenty of items in here for you to do with as you desire. We don't want to go back there. They will kill us. We did surrender, and Theot is dead now, which means we failed. And Sep does not take kindly to failure. We will die, and she does not put you to death in a nice way. I mean, the lady that ran the Thieves Guild which we was all signed up for. I mean, she was a good lady.
Wait. Choose your next words very carefully. The person you're talking about.
What?
I hope he wasn't about to speak ill of her.
Oh, goodness, no. No, she took good care of us. Back in those days, we made money. We didn't rob nobody in the town, but the roads were definitely open to us on that. We had a good arrangement. The Lord Andale at that point was actually kind of working with us on things. It was quite nice.
You mean you boys here used to be in the Thieves Guild and you were pressed into service by the Way?
Well, when the city fell, the Way came. And when the Way came in, it changed everything. It was slow at first.
And he's clearly thinking about one of them in particular. Was that the case for all of yous? All of you here? Not. Was some of you maybe part of the Way?
There's a squeeze.
None of us here was
It's meant to be comforting.
See, Sep and her people, they came in from Granitegard themselves. They wasn't there all that long. They just kind of started muscling on the Thieves Guild down there, and then when the city fell, they came up with us. And,
Alright.
She took them in, and, Sep began muscling her way forward on things. And, our guild leader, she unfortunately stood in the way too many times for Sep, and then Sep did some awful things to her in front of all of us. So after that happened, actually it wasn't just her, there was quite a few that stood up. They was all dead as well, skinned alive and then burned.
How long ago was that?
That was about 5 years ago when Sep finally made the move. And at that point she had brought all of her people up from down south. And there was just no standing up against them. And Theot, he came in about that time too, and very, very, very strong arm for Sep. He enjoyed killing. The Grey was one of the last holdouts from the original Thieves Guild. He kept most of the men interceded on our point, apart from somebody made a mistake. But again, Sep don't take kindly to mistakes. Anybody that makes an error is made an example, and we will all be made an example, and our families will be made an example as well. Don't cross her. And if we go back to that city, if we keep our families there, they'll be killed as well.
So you're proposing to move your families here?
Us and our families here, yes, as a matter of fact, and we'll serve you. I mean, we may not be the strongest warriors or anything else along those lines, but there's enough of us and it's good walls. We can keep this place.
Insight check to see if this is true.
That's
Yeah.
probably a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, that is a 19.
There's not a single face in here that seems to be any sort of deceit whatsoever that you can see. This guy is definitely pleading. I mean, good, you've just met this individual, you don't know a whole lot about him, but from what you can gather on him, he very much is pleading a case for his life and his family's life and the rest of the men in the room here. And again, nobody has tried to go for a weapon. Nobody's taken any hostile action. As a matter of fact, the way the rest of the people in this room have kind of gathered up, they're actually kind of grouping up in a position that, is not advantageous for them to engage you whatsoever.
Could they help us get the locket?
Sir, you'll forgive me if we take a minute to parlay with the rest of my group here.
Well,
But please don't try to run away now.
okay.
But we're not gonna hurt you.
Well, where do you want us to wait? I mean, we can go downstairs. I mean,
Over there by those boxes.
over there.
Yeah, stay where we can see you. We've got a few more questions we might want to ask you.
I'll watch him, don't worry.
The crowd of individuals, the remaining humans, begin making their way back over toward the side where the door is, but they're not going down the stairs, they're actually waiting over by the boxes to the far side of the room. All of you all over here on this side of the room.
Right before one of them leaves, I'll just grab them and go quietly. Did you say Seth would burn their victims?
Well, most of the time she enjoyed the most painful things she could do to you. Sometimes she just flayed people and salted the wounds. Sometimes she would skin you alive and burn you. Sometimes she would just cut off your limbs and set you on fire, hang you up by your entrails.
But burning wasn't a signature. It was just one of many.
One of many horrible things that she seemed to love. She very much seemed to enjoy as much pain as she could inflict.
Okay.
As he's saying this, I've gone back to like kind of gripping like my rapier, like white knuckle.
All right. We'll come and find you later.
We can go downstairs, or just
You said by the boxes, right?
Yes.
That one.
We'll wait by the boxes.
Okay.
We'll make it quick.
I'm going with them. Your
All
Majesty?
of the men are staring at this little goblin, staring up at them, and they actually look very nervous about a goblin, a single solitary goblin, staring at them like.
Blew up half their
Yeah.
place.
And their leader, so like.
Yeah.
Doesn't got like rabies or anything, does it?
Yes.
Alright, well, made us an offer here. What do we think?
Your Majesty, do you remember the tenets of knighthood?
He drilled them into me quite sternly, I believe.
That's right. One of them is mercy. I believe these men are telling the truth, and they're desperate. Desperate men make the best soldiers.
Can we support all of their families here as well, though?
The supply chain. I believe there's some land around the keep. Subsistence farming, perhaps.
Well,
Before I speak, I'd like to
Do
hear.
you mind if we put the
every-
fire out?
oh yeah, you should probably work on that. That'd be a good use of your time. Thank you.
The men begin trying to put the fire out in the boxes.
Sir Gingerin, before I
They open up some of the
speak
windows,
and
let
share
some smoke out.
my mind, I'd like to very much hear what everyone else has to say.
I'm for mercy. I'm wondering if they could be of use to us in obtaining this locket.
At the very least, they have information about the way, who are among our greatest adversaries at this point.
And honestly, now that town has gotten a little fraught, it would be really nice to have some place that we could come back to, restock, sleep, eat, all of that would be lovely to do here.
I think they should stay and guard the keep. I think our expedition to the collector should be a small one. Anything larger would draw a lot of attention and push him into hiding.
Okay.
I do want to bring up the fact that while these people are desperate and clearly have no loyalty to Theot or whoever he served, were still in the way. They were still part of the Thieves Guild, and we have members who have experience with these types. Can we ever trust them?
Trust is earned. I speak only for the Thieves Guild, as my family were, as if you did not catch that, the woman that he was speaking of was my mother. She was the leader of the Thieves Guild. Petty crime, they never hurt no one. It's not what I wanted to be involved with. That's why I left, but they're criminals. They're not bad people, which he kind of like pauses for a moment with, which Vaughn might recognize what he's thinking about. But like I said, trust is earned. We'll keep an eye on them. Don't sleep with the door unlocked around here, I would say, but Sir Gingerin says they seem honest.
Half my soldiers were criminals. Best I ever had.
But to your point about the way, it does kind of make me wonder if we can trust people who used to be in that particular organization.
Let's put Skeet's in charge.
Of them?
Yes. In fact, we can put Skeet's in charge of the whole keep.
Skeech, what do you think about that?
I'm off with the
Oh,
the
yeah.
group.
Oh, that's right.
I'm starting fires, so they have something to do.
Well, there is a lot of junk. There is a lot of junk in here now
Stop
that we
doing that. We just
tore
took
up
that
the
out.
place.
I gotta keep you busy.
No, don't do that. Don't
Now
do
that we tore up the place,
That's
there is a
oil.
lot of junk in here.
He did usurp
Don't set the
the
oil on fire.
previous ruler. The natural chain of command would go to him.
And that is how it works in certain societies.
In the animal kingdom.
Right, in the animal kingdom. So 5 years ago was when the Way moved into town. Damon, when did you get into Granitegard, Newtown? I mean,
With you?
is that the first time you've been here?
Yes.
Insight.
I would like to as well.
I would like to see if I trust him, because at this point I very much am trying to figure out if I can trust him.
It's an 18 for me.
Damon does not seem to be lying to you.
That's, yeah, no. Don't worry about it.
I just give you a nod.
Well,
To interject, I think it important that most everyone has shared their insight here, but I don't think we can make a decision until we hear from you.
They're just men. They won't do anything. They're not real members of the Way, if that makes sense.
I'd like to know more about that, to be clear.
They're not trained in the same way that members of the Way are.
what exactly is that training?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Did we see any of them do the shadow step?
The only one that seems to have done anything with that shadow step is Damon.
Well, it seems we all have some special abilities. Look at Damon and look at Vaughn.
I'd like to look at Damon and say, we all have secrets, friend. And I say it in Southern.
Like with a drawl.
Well, have secrets,
We
friend.
all have secrets, but yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say back in Southern, some secrets will get more killed than others.
You hear?
I say.
I don't speak that, but do I recognize that language because of my travels? Oh, Southern. Seems two of you might be more well-traveled than I originally expected. Have to swap some stories about the South, but another time perhaps.
And what are we doing with Pavis?
Maybe Pavis can stay here.
With the people that just tried to kidnap him?
I think that Theot was leading that decision.
I also think that those people in particular are laying on the ground right now.
Even so,
Here's this like barbecue.
a young child like Pavis, I must say, whether or not we can trust these individuals here, I would prefer for Pavis to be around someone else with stronger moral backbone. I'm curious if
Like
you could-
him if he were alive.
Like him in death.
If I had a backbone.
I just don't know that it's a great idea for Pavis to stay with us.
I'd like to recommend that we see if Lord Arundel can take in young Pavis. Possibly give
That's a
different,
good idea. I like
a
it.
different avenue for their life.
I think that's for
I
best
think
too.
that's good.
Once long ago, him and his father took care of me when I lived a life that was pretty similar to little Pavis there. So hopefully they can do the same for him.
think it's come to a consensus then that we shouldn't let the past of these individuals, or any of us, decide how we move forward. They stay at the keep, they contribute, and insofar as they do not contribute, we will release them from our service. But until then, are useful for us and it protects them and their family.
I have a brilliant idea. We can have kind of a company where we've now recruited them. They have to recruit more people to sell my potions and trinkets. Yeah, it'll go kind of this direction. I'm at the top, then they're down here, and then if they recruit more people and to sell the trinkets, eventually, you know, they'll be successful or something.
Highly manipulative.
No.
Someone sold me some kitchen knives once.
And for the record, don't we know that every single one of these crates had cutlery in them?
No, you can't. Not all of them had cutlery.
The one down below him, one of them exploded, there was cutlery in it.
Well, we can figure that out at a later date, but it sounds like we're in agreement. Who wants to talk to these men?
Just bring it back over.
I'll talk to them.
So as you guys walk back over there, you can see them all in abject terror of Skeech. And like they're not quite sure what he's going to set on fire next. And they're looking at you and looking at Skeech and like, he's a little bit prone to doing some damage around here.
Skeech puts bomb
That's
away
why
now.
we keep him around.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Skeech is in charge while we're gone.
What?
What?
That's right.
You know the tower would be a lot better if it wasn't blown up or set on fire, right?
Skeech, you promise not to blow anything up or set anything on fire? On purpose?
Within reason.
Yes.
Well, the tower does look a
It
little
does not
worse.
seem to pacify anybody's face. They're like,
I can.
The tower does look a little worse for the wear, but that is why Skeech has been put in charge. Because this goblin here, he is the best builder I have ever seen. He's gonna fix this place right up. But you gotta do what he says. He's in charge.
like fixing the damage that he did.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
That's the best
There's
any of
no
us can
fixing
do.
that. I'm just gonna point at one of the bodies.
Listen,
That's a Bond thing. I can't.
can I tell you something,
It
Skeech?
doesn't work like that, Skeech.
Oh, yeah.
That was some real classic goblin when you blew him up like that, but it was brave beyond that. You know, I killed so many goblins in my day. Indiscriminately. Not you. Listen.
Yeah, I know you didn't kill me.
Sometimes I think if it hadn't been me in charge, if it was somebody smarter and kinder, like Vaughn here, then maybe we could have sat down and tried to understand the goblins instead of driving them from wilderness to wilderness. And perhaps if I hadn't been so ruthless, what happened to Granitegard would not have happened. And I wouldn't have been a failure. My life's purpose was to protect Granitegard and look at it. But there is something I can do in death. Skeech, I'm going to take out my maul and I'm going to put it on Skeech's shoulder. Skeech, where are you from?
The Merklowers.
The Merklowers. Skeech, do you swear to protect the innocent? Take us.
Yes.
Do you swear to act with mercy, valor, and honor always?
Vaughn is mouthing it as Sir Gendron is saying it.
If I can get a detailed explanation, I can try.
Good enough. Do you swear to be good to those who love you?
Well, yeah.
Where'd you say you were from again?
The Merklowers.
Hereby deem you Sir Skeech of the Merklowers, a true knight of Granitegard.
From all the other guys that are standing around watching, they're all like,
Now you men, now this is a true knight of Granitegard. That means you have to do what he says. Skeech, you're in charge. I trust you to act like a knight.
I summon a spectral horn.
I pull out some like flowers and toss
they all take a step back.
All right. Your first charge as a true knight of Granitegard, Sir Skeech, is to hold and protect this tower.
And the people in it?
And the people in it. As long as they behave. And if they don't, I'll haunt you till you go crazy.
He's really good at that.
He'll do it.
Hey, wait a second. You can see this like also the light bulbs are turning on. Actually, the candles, I guess. And this one going to the room. It's like, baby, let's tell the truth about that cat.
Yes, I am Sir Ginger.
The cat.
They all kind of have this look like,
So, I'm in charge now. I can.
You're in charge.
Okay.
I trust you.
Where's the food?
And I will have my first decree that we need to go eat something.
I won't argue with that.
Yeah.
So, the men begin to lead you all downstairs. Like, well, we got plenty in the larder. There's all, and we even got 2 good cooks that can serve you up something quite right nice. Really, I mean, not as good as the bread inside the city, but they got some good breads and some good pudding, and we got cheese wheels like you wouldn't believe. And they again lead you all downstairs, and they start reciting what goods they have here in the tower. The quartermaster's area, they are talking about the weapons and armor that they have been able to acquire over many years and store up. They're not sure why a lot of the stuff wasn't resold, but that's not their place to question. The best goodies and things were kept up in Theot's quarters, which is in a trapdoor above the room that you were in initially. The rest of the boxes and stuff up here were some of the finer items that Theot was keeping for his own purposes at that point.
Really quick, before we go downstairs, 1, can I get my dagger back?
Yes.
And 2, the symbol of the way, was it attached to the armor or was it something he was wearing?
It was on the shield.
Okay.
And most of that was blasted off in one of the earlier explosions that went off.
Okay. I just want my dagger back then.
Is the armor still there?
Crushed and mangled and partially slagged, yes.
Okay, never mind.
Does it look like the kind of metal we found in the city?
No, it
Okay.
does not. What it does look like is the guards of the city watch's armor from back when Granitegard was still in its prime before the fall happened. It has been repaired a couple of times, but repaired very well, as a matter of fact.
Well, can we see what we find up inside the top of the tower?
I thought you were heading down to the kitchen.
I would like to go.
We can
to
go
the
after we
tower.
All right. Well, Skeech is in charge, and
Yep.
he's decreed that it's time to eat.
Sir Skeech.
Sir
Sir
Skeech.
Skeech.
I was just making sure that we're going on
And
that.
I don't know
You
about
can go
all
like
of you, but my potions are completely depleted, as is my spirit. So I would very much like a rest after this meal.
All
I'll
right.
help you down the stairs.
They,
Best part of taking a tower is the loot.
down the stairs you all head.
Loot the body.
Down the stairs you all head, and out of the stairwell once you reach the base, and it leads you back out into the main portion of the garrison. And the way the garrison is actually again set up, you have the central tower piece, which forms the base, which has the really thick reinforced walls. There's that small center ring, and then the stairwell that leads up. There's an outer ring that connects to all the rooms in the garrison itself. So each section is broken off into a quarter, except for the main entry area, which is where you came in and dispatched the first person that you ran into. The quartermaster's office is that room that you came into here. There's another room that you haven't checked out. There's the dining room, and then there's the kitchen / larder. And they lead you over to the dining room and begin setting things up in there, pulling some chairs and some nice little table setting for you. These men are not looking too much to eat at this point. They're just all kind of standing around because they're really not quite sure what to do. And somebody runs off to the kitchen, and you hear some kind of shouting coming from the kitchen. And out come 2 individuals. Go ahead. Cooks.
Oh, so are they just coming out?
They just come out of the kitchen at this point because they've been told to come out and see the new bosses.
Well, we're in the middle of something here, but What happened?
Theot's dead, and they're hungry.
Right, so if Theot's dead, does that mean we're free?
They all look over at Skeech. Well, kinda.
Kinda. What?
Again, all the guys look back over at Skeech again.
Is that a goblin? Soup's on, I guess.
Yeah, the two men that you see, there is a taller, a bulkier one that has this big giant chef's hat on. He's got his apron. There's a shorter, stockier one with big broad arms, and he's got this deep tattoo sitting over here on one side. And they're both covered in flour and stains and stuff on their outfits and all. But I mean, they look clean enough. And soup's on. So what you making there, cooks?
Well, I'm more of a pastry chef myself. You see, the secret is all about the rising. You gotta let the yeast sit. You gotta let it work. Makes them light and airy. Perfect for salting up stew or gravy. The other shorter one goes, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So what, you need the Queen's Royal Pastry Chef? You need one of them tall cook hats to fit your swollen head.
Well, you know, you might, in fact, be the King's Royal Pastry Chef if you play your cards right.
Well, there's a lot going on. I feel like we've been stuck in this kitchen for too long and seem to have missed quite a bit. So, change of power, goblins in charge, anything else that we need to know about.
Please watch what you say about the royal pastry chef.
This place is under new management, so to speak. Now, you are free to go. I think we should reiterate that.
No one's being held against their will.
But it might be dangerous for you in the city, so you're welcome to stay here and work for us.
Well, cooking's all we know. The tall one goes, well, I really like doing what I'm doing, and I don't really have anywhere else to go. When Sep came, she kind of took over everything and put Theot in charge, and we've just been kind of working here. We don't really do any of the field work. We just kind of stick to what we know, stay in the kitchen. And the smaller one goes, yeah, well, I guess I could stay, but my true passion was always to be a dancer. Maybe someday.
Well,
But for now, I think cooking is what I do, so I guess I'll just keep doing that. But maybe I'll have some more free time to practice my dancing now.
Okay, you can dance now.
Show us what you got.
Well, okay. I'm a little out of practice, and he just.
I give him bardic inspiration. I tap him on the shoulder and say, you dance like you've never danced before.
All right. Well, he goes, and he takes out.
He has never danced before.
And he takes out, like, he's got two cleavers, and he takes out his cleavers and just goes. And he, like, struts out in the middle of the room and does this pirouette and like holds the cleavers in some kind of way that it looks like they're kind of like flourishing, like dancing a little bit. And he just like keeps spinning. He's really good. He's got a very good center of gravity. He's just kind of round, so he just kind of like spins like a top, sort of, you know. Yeah, he does a couple of turns, and he just stops and he just kind of looks at all of you. Just,
Cruising after a bang.
Thank you. I've been wanting so long to do that in front of an audience. Just been doing it in front of the mirror, and this guy right here, and he points to the tall one, he has no appreciation for the fine arts.
Well, hopefully now that all you won't be thieving and looting and murdering.
Well, we was never a part of that.
Right. Before you were making feasts for criminals. Now you were making feasts for heroes.
Well,
Here.
it's all the same to us. Food's food.
That seemed like that didn't go over very well. Y'all got any ale back there?
Oh yeah.
And I have him like want him to lead me back to where the ale is.
All right. So they take you back to the larder, and as you pass into the kitchen is packed to the gills with cutlery of all different kinds. There's some really super fancy stuff that has some, it's made out of silver. But then they lead you to the spices and the basic flour things, and they're just barrel after barrel after barrel of all kinds of spices, and into the larder. And the larder is packed. I mean, there are base level style foods, and then there are fine imported foods as well. They've obviously been hitting caravans and taking what they want, and you could feed a small army with what's packed in here.
All right. I need you to help me roll a couple of these out there into the room.
All right.
So I start pushing this barrel out, and I bring a bunch of glasses, clink them together. Hey, tonight we're celebrating to Sir Skeech.
Sir Skeech.
And you also give them in glasses and stuff as well?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Excellent
well
kill
done
shot.
on that. The camaraderie the mood of these men changes very much, and you can see that there's a lot of relief on their faces and sort of thing. And as they begin drinking and toasting you as well, one of the men comes up and is like, look, I don't mean to be rude or such, but there were several men that ran out of here hightailing it scared, which I'm going to assume word is probably spreading now in the city. It's night, but tomorrow, first thing when the gates open, are we free to bring our families back in?
Yes, you are. And I think that probably be best.
I don't know how to thank you, and I know you don't believe me, but we swear that we will repay you for this. The time will come, I guess, that you may trust us a tad bit more, but, can't do much about that between here and there, but I think I speak, for all the men here, and they're raise their glasses, and it's not that, kind of drunk, it's they're all, and thank you for this chance, and he's gonna set your kids and such on fire, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
No. Okay. Very good. Thank you. And you all proceed. This is a coaster. Nice and sweet. You all proceed to have a nice meal as the kids bring food. The celebration continues for quite a while until, again, you all feel very, very tired. And they're like, look, nicest place for you all to be is definitely going to be up in Theots' chambers up there. You're more than welcome. We'll take you on up, and we will be staying down in these areas here. It's okay. We can do some reclamation on some things and such. But if you trust us, we'll keep the watch.
And the cooks actually have the chef feed, so they can cook some goodies and give you guys some little tasty treats that you can get some hit points with.
That is a direct order. I want tasty treats always. On demand.
I know you made one of those chefs super duper happy.
Yeah. This is a special occasion. I've been saving this special recipe for quite some time. I think you'll like it, especially you, Sir Skeech. And he just walks back.
Amazing.
Every time somebody says Sir Skeech, Skeech just looks like uncomfortable at first, and then like his ears like perk up a little bit.
So up at the top of the tower they take you all, and it is obvious that Theot has been living in the lap of luxury. So you go back into the room where you all were before, and they go over and pull a panel down in the ceiling. It drops down, and there's a ladder that rolls down, and help you guys climb up to the top. The top floor of this obviously is kind of hidden away in this nice little retreat. There's a wine rack of special wines, obviously these super high quality wines, several kegs of ale that are up there. There are several boxes packed with all kinds of fine linens and clothing. You can see that there is this 4-poster bed. There is a giant bearskin rug next to a beautiful looking fireplace. There are golden accoutrements on top of that for the candelabras. There's several tables that are set up in the room with various maps and such laid out on them, but the tables themselves are gorgeous tables and chairs. There's a dining room table up here again. This set though actually is a silver set that's laid out there on the table, silver goblets, silver plates, silverware, and it is true silver. And again, there's all kinds of wonderful items that are up in here in the room.
Maps, you say?
Absolutely.
I'd like to take a look at those maps, please.
All right. The maps that are there is an old map of Granitegard before the city fell. There are also the Traders Road that goes all the way down to past Theots to the border, and the Traders Road as it runs all the way up to the Concordance with various points marked that are really good ambush points that have been noted on there. And then there is a map of Newtown that is laid out, and there are a bunch of businesses and houses that have certain symbols and stuff marked on there. You're not quite sure what those mean.
Are there any letters?
Pardon?
Letters.
As a matter of fact, there's a booklet that looks to be his journal.
I would like to read that.
All right. Do you read Northern?
Do I read what?
Northern.
I believe so.
Okay. There's lots of board entries about the day-to-day operations here at the Garrison Tower. Guard shifts, duty rosters, supplies, traffic on the Traders Road, list of repairs that need to be performed at the garrison itself. There's a note that while Sep is away, she's placed 2 of her lieutenants in charge. Theot was placed in charge of the revenue streams centered around the Garrison Tower, i.e. raiding the road and such, while the Grey was placed in charge of the activities within Newtown. There's a page after page after page of notes on Theot's schemes to impress Sep, and his new ways to generate revenue, and his obsession to humiliate the Grey and supersede him as the primary lieutenant. Man is quite obsessed with that for whatever reason. Sep is left quite a bit ago to head south to take care of some issues that occurred several months ago. Apparently there were several top leaders in the way that were murdered down south, and it has caused a destabilization of the way down there. And Sep has gone down to straighten that out. She took her elite guard, known as the Enforcers, to help her reestablish order. And Captain Theot has been given orders by Sep to keep an eye out for several individuals. One of them seems to match Echo's description. One of them seems to match Mary's description. And they're not drawings of them, but it's a very, very much an interesting physical description, like very uncanny. As you're reading it, like you begin looking over at Mary, you're like, oh, wow, that, everybody has little tell marks and things like that. And there are certain moments as you're reading it through, like there's nobody else but Mary that's going to have a freckle in a certain location or things along those lines. And strange how they would have that particular data there. And there are notes about the requirements to take care of the obligations to the Hag. And there are X number of people that need to be provided within every monthly cycle to be brought down to a certain meeting point within the shambles where the Hag will pick them up and bring them into the city.
Damon, are you sharing this information with
No.
us?
Oh, wow, those are wasted notes for everybody.
We did get a trademark note. So.
Not right now.
That's fine.
That is true,
Let
yes.
me add it to the
Super cut
list.
edition.
For continuity's
Super
sake, how are you reading this book? How are you reading the journal? Are you taking and go hide in the corner? Because if Vaughn sees you with the book, oh, what'd you find?
I would have.
It's titled
Because
Nanya.
I know what I'm holding. I'm going to do it. I see that you're distracted by the maps, and I'm not sure what everybody else is doing, but I'm kind of just going to have my back turned and have it looking down to where, like, I look like I'm looking at something, but you can't tell if I'm looking at a book or not. Vaughn.
We've already seen these maps. Did anyone else find anything else? No.
Yes. Oh. No, that actually didn't hurt. Your guys.
I'm looking around to see if there are any. I heard that there was armor up here. Look around and check out.
Now, when it came to dividing the spoils of
You gonna
war,
go search?
Yeah.
I'll go with you, my friend.
I'm specifically looking for a breastplate or a set of half plate.
Go ahead and give me an investigation on that.
What happened to the armor of God protecting you?
I have the armor of God. Have you? Well, didn't apparently. Even that was not enough to protect me from Theot earlier, but that was a added blow.
We gotta work on your close combat. That was embarrassing.
I agree with Echo.
Kind of like the veneer of bravado drops just for a moment. Echo, are you being serious? Would you?
When am I not serious?
That is true. Would you train me in?
Train you?
Yeah, you pretty handy with the sword, and you got some armor. You seem to be able to take a fight. Someone trained you. Perhaps you could get some of that, impart some of that information to me.
I've never trained anyone, but I would love to.
Well, you instill in confidence.
Well, I am the best at what I do, so
Oh, okay.
I should be good at this.
All right. Well, we'll give that a try. All right. That's a 7.
7? All right, Reverend begins to root around, trying to find armor and things like that. You don't find anything. You do find an armor stand and stuff, and an armor cleaning kit and things. Looks to just be his personal stuff, which all seem to go downstairs and get annihilated with him. But then you do remember, like, oh, wait a moment. The quartermaster's office was packed full of armor and weapons. That's all the way at the bottom.
Oh.
And you just don't seem very interested in the eye agate or the silver bracelet or any of the embroidered handkerchiefs or small silver bracelets or any of the other fancy jewelry and stuff that's just.
Oh, if there's jewelry, I am going
it's just
to.
no armor, man.
If there's jewelry, I'm going to pocket that like as quickly as possible.
Looking like a greedy kid at Halloween. You see the Reverend open up this chunk and he's like looking around for armor and he kind of has a sad face. All of a sudden, like his eyes, cha-ching, and he's stuffing his pockets with coins and all kinds of stuff that's worth buku money. There's a strange looking crossbow sitting in there. There's a weird looking potion. Potion. There's 2 other weird, strange flasks as you take a peek at them there, and assorted coins.
I start like shoving this stuff in my pockets, the 2 potions, but then I have the crossbow. Hey Vaughn.
Did you find something over there?
Yeah, I found something that you might be interested in.
Oh, their plans? Anything noted down specifically?
No, it's a crossbow.
Oh, walks over.
And I decided to give it to you as my gift to you.
It's a piece of fruit.
I think you might be right.
I can hear you.
Same.
Not very good at whispering.
All right, Vaughn, he hands you this
No one's ever told me that before.
Vaughn, you tried to steer me right, but ever since I was a little boy, I never listened too good. I want you to know I'm trying. This working as part of a team, not what I'm used to. If I do something you don't like in the future, I hope you'll continue to tell me. Voice your displeasure with it. And I'll do the same for you.
Reaching out for the crossbow for that like moment where he's holding it and connecting it. And to be quite honest with you, Reverend, I would expect nothing less. And that's why I'm so fortunate to have you around. It is important to have individuals who work with you will actually tell the truth and not just tell you what they think you want to hear.
Well, you see, for something I'm fond of saying is, spend enough time lying, you learn what the truth really means. Anyway, I hope you like it.
Pretty wise.
Look at the crossbow. It's a decent sized crossbow, but the strangest thing about it is there's this bolt attached to the crossbow, and as the bolt head comes off, it looks to be a folded crisscross of limbs that come off of it as a point, and then it connects back to a reel of very thin metal that's wrapped in a coil around the back of the crossbow.
This is very nice, Reverend. Are you sure you want to give this to me?
I'm not really trained to use a crossbow, to be honest. I usually just, I do have this little bell that I ring, though.
I've seen it to great effect.
And I start ringing it. Gotcha! Put it away.
What a jape.
In Theot's journal, are there any descriptions of the Reverend and myself?
No. However, they are to be on the lookout for any members of the Way that are not presenting orders to be up here in the north.
I knew it.
Well, everybody's checking out the very boring, non-important items like papers and weapons and chunks of shiny metal. Can I check under the bed?
Yes.
Is there enough space for me?
Yes.
I love it.
You find a bunch of naughty picture books under the bed.
So again, boring books. I'm just shoving them out while I'm making room for me under the bed. That's the safe place.
Interesting. How just noticing.
As those start like piling out from under the bed, I'm looking around, and I also have like all the trinkets and stuff that I've been like shoving into every like available pocket. I once rented a room in the Spice Coast that looked a lot like this. I rented it for about a week. Cleared me out of money, but it was worth it. Ooh, we had a time.
Reverend, if you want the room, you can just say that.
No.
The room itself is quite large. It is, remember how big the room that you're in, it actually sits on top of that. So you can imagine how spacious it is. So if you did set up additional accommodations, you could all room up here on the top. Or you could decide to room at other floors with more earthy company.
Damon, we could probably find a bunk bed, put it up here.
Oh, they'd be bunkies.
As I was fading in and out of consciousness, I saw you leap into action to save me.
If Damon took the bottom bunk, he'd always be under a shadow.
That's true.
You see Vaughn like speak up to clarify, I think you were a mistake, and then sees what you're trying to do.
Basically, the Reverend's going to need some recovery time. So it takes you all a couple of days to get Reverend back up to speed. But during that time, welcome to level 5.
Hey!
So, you know what happens when level 5 rolls around? We're actually in level of that. We need to roll for hit points on that.
And I just want to point out that since you didn't say anything, canonically, we were sleeping in a bunk bed.
No, I ordered them to bring the bunk bed up the ladder.
Yes.
Okay, but which bunk? Which one did you take?
The top bunk.
Oh, okay. I don't even think I fought for it. I was like, whatever.
It makes it easy to stab him in his sleep, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the super nice 4-post bed, right underneath of it. That's where I sleep.
Remember when they said we couldn't take 38 men and make it easy? Just, you don't need to kill all of them. Just half of them and the rest.
Humans run.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go ahead.
I knew you'd
start with,
understand.
hit points on that.
Yeah.
And we'll start on this side and work our way across.
That'll be max.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
More than I make in a year.
Well, that brings you up to 52, right, Ron?
What was that?
52 is your total?
That, I've got so many pages in front of me now. I'm leveling up actively. That will take me to, hold on, I actually think, because it's plus con, so it'll be 4.
So 14. Okay, so 56, right?
Oh, excuse me, 54. 54.
Okay, my bad.
You almost have doubled my hit points.
Yeah.
All right, next in line is going to be Mary. What'd you roll?
2.
2. What's your hit dice?
D8.
8, so that means you've got 4.
Okay.
So again, it's the rule of half on that we use. Whatever your hit die is, if you roll below half, you get half. If you roll below that, you keep that. So 44 is your new
That's
total.
nice. That's generous. Yeah.
All right, and next along we move over
Do you
to
level
Anna.
up in Ghost?
Do
Okay,
I?
that was a 9. So that's a 12 total.
So 55.
Oh my god.
Anna bumps Vaughn from his throne there.
That's wise.
And over to Speech.
It's a much smaller die, as you guys might see.
It's Skeech dice.
Well, that's the rule of half, so I'll take a 3 off
So
that.
29 is your total now?
Plus 1 for
Oh,
Todd.
30.
Yeah.
Wow. So, it's still pretty easy to kill in one shot. I mean,
It didn't work for your last boss.
Touche. All right, let's go ahead and look over at Echo, and we also need to roll for Sky too.
So that is a 7 for Echo, bringing him up to 46.
46. Did you have com bonus?
That was with it.
Oh, all right, fantastic. And Sky?
In Sky, we'll get a 6 plus 2 for another 8. That'll bring her up to 49.
49. All right. And
Oh.
Damon, what are we looking at?
Woof.
It's gonna be a 6.
6, so that brings you to 40 total.
Yeah.
All right. And Reverend.
You looked so sad at 6. That was the best outcome for me.
Yeah, right. It's better than me.
That's a 2.
Well, I rolled a
What is your
1,
max?
so
It's a D8.
D8, so you get 4.
Yeah.
So that's going to bring you up to 32.
32.
Well, you still managed to hover above Skeech on that, so you guys are both racing to the bottom as fast as possible. So that's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm shorter. That's where the other 2 hit points for
Oh,
his come
that's
in.
true.
He's
That's
a
true
little
on that.
taller.
But again, that still makes you a tad bit less squishy at this point.
My AC is now 17.
Oh, nice. So your AC changed on that? Anybody
So
else?
your HP's too higher, your AC's too higher.
As we were recuperating, Echo was training me in the ways of combat.
All right. Yeah,
He
she's
has
covered.
much to learn.
That's the fundamentals.
Hey, listen, I got by all right before I met all of you. Of course, I was facing.
No talking, and I'm like.
I was facing people that I had sold potions to that they didn't like what I sold them, or you know,
This must have been a lot of people.
people that I stole their lover, things like that. Not goblins and collectors and demon possessed big knights, things like that. What I'm saying is, you all brought me a lot of trouble.
We brought you trouble?
Yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
been
wow.
quite collective. I think we've all done our fair share.
So, by the end of the recovery period for you folks, it takes about a week to get everybody 100% back up,
Okay.
ready to rock and roll, finish your training, that sort of thing.
Could I actually, during that week,
Mhm.
since Echo's handing out lessons, I was wondering, I noticed, so I can read and write Elvish, but I've never really been very good at speaking it, and your accent is so beautiful. Would you help me learn to speak it out loud?
Of course, it'd
Excellent.
be good to practice with somebody.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm afraid it kind of gets rusty after a bit when
Yeah.
you don't use it every day.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah, you know.
all the conjugations
You know,
and such.
yeah.
You're everyone's teacher, aren't you?
Yeah, fantastic.
I learned a lot back in the day.
In the mountains.
I failed that
Mm-hmm.
class.
But don't take it personally, Echo, but
I don't.
having Sir Gendron go through the same drills that we did from childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. And shield up. All right.
His
I don't
body is beginning
use
to
a shield.
His body's beginning to smell a little bad. You're looking at it, and you can see that the wounds that he had suffered were never cleaned.
Oh.
They're kind of festering a little bit at this point. There's some spider webbing, little black vein action coming away from where the holes are. I mean, the body's still alive, he's just driving. So, he's also really not eating at this point all that much either.
I feel like I'd be eating, but only pastries.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because, like,
My order was we eat.
Yeah.
So good. I'm glad you are feeding this machine, but you
Yeah.
probably need to get it some medical attention while you're here.
I may just do a bunch of lay on hands.
Okay, just making sure.
Just
'cause
kind
we
of. Oh.
We never
like,
patched any of those holes. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wondering
There's
what's
like
going
the
on with
dagger
that.
was still there like the next morning. And I'm like, oh.
I slept on it. All right, that's good. So that doesn't
Yes.
happen. He does clean up his wounds. He is not stinky, which is good because that was like bad.
Yeah.
Can we during that week? I think the cooks want to like ask them because so I don't know sometime. Well, first of all, how do you like the pastries? Are they to your liking? I've never had this much freedom to work my art, you know. I'd really like to know.
Now, the airiness is good. That's good. But
gotta
the
let 'em say
the
it.
key
You
is
gotta
to
let 'em
get
rise.
it airy without getting dry, and that's the most difficult part.
You got to time it just right.
Yes, yes,
It's
exactly,
not,
exactly.
it's
Sometimes you get it perfect, and sometimes you don't. So yeah,
So-
you're getting there.
Okay, right. Because I didn't know where you was going with that for a second, but all right.
Yes.
Yeah, Theot never appreciated my baking. One time I baked a cupcake and presented it to him, and he just looked at me, and to save face, I pretended it was a joke and shoved it into Freddy's eyeball.
Oh.
And he turns to is the tall one who now you know his name is Abel, and the short one's name is Eric. So he turns to Eric and he goes, "You remember One-Eyed Freddy? Well, Blind Freddy now." But at least I got out of it unscathed. But Theot looked pretty upset.
It's
But-
all right. Theot used to eat moss when he was a kid. He used to eat river moss, so it doesn't matter.
That's true. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you folks is enjoying my cooking. And also, Eric and I, you folks have been to Granitegard, right? You
You've
from
been
Newtown?
under it.
Under it.
Yeah.
Well, do you know of a baker there? His name was Rizzo. Eric and I used to work for him. We was just wondering what happened to him.
There was that shop that was getting closed down,
Yeah.
but we never met the man.
Was it just getting closed down, or do you know of anything that what happened to him?
We intervened as much as we possibly could, but we haven't been able to go back. We've been here for the past several days, so I'm not sure what's befallen them.
They both removed their chef's hat and just kind of put it to their chest. Poor Rizzo. He was a quirky guy, but he was good. He treated us well. And he let me practice my skills. Not as good as they could be, apparently, but but it's a work in progress. All right, well. And then he just, puts a platter of more cookies and muffins down for everybody.
During the course of the week, like I said, things have changed dramatically around here. Most of the families have been brought in from Newtown, one by one, real quiet and subtle. But now there's children running around here. There has been the 2 floors that are below this have been overhauled to actually create more living quarters, so to speak. They are clearing out one of the other rooms and moving stuff, packing it into as much as they can, the quartermasters and that floor just below yours to create more living space for the families. There is a barn that's sitting outside, and they're also remodeling that as well. Because the barn sits within the side of the garrison to accommodate the living space. So it's interesting the life that has kind of blossomed here in this scary spot in the shadow of the city walls.
Not to play it out or anything, but whenever he's not sparring and going through lessons with Sir Gendron, he is shifting his approach and is essentially starting to figure out what it means to play politician, like meeting the families individually, trying to get all of their names, like welcoming them to this and saying that we're going to keep them safe.
Interesting. Go ahead and give me. You can use a charisma-based roll on that. You have a skill you want to add?
I have to?
Well, you are trying to.
Would you like some of mine?
Help me, one god. It's not good, boss. That'll be an 8 total.
An 8?
Can I give him a help action? As
As
a high charisma ghost.
seeing Vaughn as your protege, I'll allow you to intervene and assist him on that. Go ahead and give me a roll with advantage.
More kingly.
12.
12. All right, it's a good
Better.
first attempt on things. The people are already very happy the fact that you've allowed them to get the family stuff in here. It is very different from where you have come emotionally to where you are trying to branch out at this point. It is trying to rediscover lessons you learned in your youth, etiquette classes and things along those lines. So it is not unsuccessful, but you know that if you work on it some more, you could probably begin to sway people a tad bit more. But they are really impressed to learn that you are Beatrice's grandson and Varen's son, and more importantly, your mother's son, who was a commoner who married him. So that seems to have a real big sway on these people more than anything else. So they don't seem to be afraid of you being around their children or anything else along those lines. A couple times kids are even asking you how you got that scar and such. Good children. But again, life does things. However, what you do notice is that as the week is kind of dragging out here, Sir Jordan is getting very antsy. It is your quest is so close at this point, and you don't mind helping out, but after the end of that week, you are sitting there like.
I'm certain whoever this is has a life that person would like to get back to. I think it's time for our quest.
If I could just jump in and ask for two things
Uh-oh.
during this week.
It's not a special action, right?
No, this is my special action. I get to do now. It's as a treat. So, I want to take like the first couple days of the week to kind of like figure out what is damaged around the tower, and then when they're kind of going off to get their families, presumably from like the town or whatever, say, take this and get this. If somebody could write this down for me, please. Thank you. I'm just gonna give you a list of supplies, and I'm going to pull out a coin purse that Vaughn gave to me earlier, and just hand one of the random people about 200 gold.
Right, I'll take that.
And send them off the list. And I wanted to know if I could take all the remaining time working on what I talked to you about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where am I along in the progress of that?
We'll have to discover that later on.
Okay.
So,
Am I able to do something during the week?
what were you doing during the week, David?
I can imagine like the first few days, Damon kind of was away from the group. So in the dining hall, while you all sat together, he sat off by himself. He didn't really talk to people. Maybe halfway through the week, he would approach, sit down, looking nervous. I have a feeling some of you don't trust me.
Yes, I don't
What
at all.
gave you that idea?
Listen,
Perish the thought.
I will leave right now.
I'm sorry, I will keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
You say what you say.
I'm not one to share who I am, what I do, where I come from, because usually it's not important. What I can say, I am a walking dead man. I'm a walking corpse. The way wants me dead, and I don't mean the way they want him dead. I did something much worse. They want me gone. So, whenever we cross them, most likely they may be targeting me. They're searching for me, you know. Fun little time. You're welcome.
Well, so it sounds like we do house hasting and the way, right? I just think, like, you know, maybe we can knock both of them out.
I love the way genocide brings people together.
Right? Is it really genocide if they, you know, are so very bad?
Okay, mass murder.
Yeah, exactly.
The good part about your predicament, Damon, and I don't mean to use your bad fortune to our own ends, but I happen to want the way to come for us because I have business with them, as you know. So,
Yes, there's more than just Sep the Blade that are looking for me.
we ain't gonna let them get you.
We got you, David.
As Vaughn said, your enemies, while you're with us, are ours.
He doesn't know how to react to that kind of information, so he just sits there.
And if it wouldn't help you feel better, I have a trinket of bravery.
Not the top.
I don't want that. Put it away.
But it works.
The top bunk might make him feel
Read
better.
the room, read the room. All right, here we go. Put that back in my pocket.
No, I'll take 2.
Damon, if it's worth anything, you were very brave in that fight.
Thank you.
And you were in excellent form.
The wrist thing. It's just.
I
was
will
pretty
do
cool.
everything in my power to protect you the way I would myself.
Thanks.
And I won't let anyone else that I'm in charge of die.
I'm sorry. In charge of?
Task was protecting.
I'm focusing
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
in
other
charge
part of
here.
that.
I don't believe in knighthoods. No offense. It's not really my thing.
Nobody explained to me what that was yet. But
It's a bunch of nonsense.
Really cool nonsense. Like, really, really cool nonsense.
It's
I have a
honor.
feeling you're kind of insulting it by still calling it nonsense, even
Oh.
if you put cool in front
Oh
of it.
yes, that's a very good point. I mean, it's not nonsense, and Vaughn can probably explain it better.
so
Just
is it
as-
like that noble thing?
As
or-
Ginger
It's like
and-
as cool as junk.
It's not the swearing that one is done. It's not the armor that one wears. It's the actions that someone takes. And it's the honor and the virtue that Sir Jinin was speaking of that guides the actions. You're right, Echo. Knighthood means nothing if you don't carry out the tenets of it.
But he does.
Now that's a key.
And that title is also important. You might say that if you give yourself a title, even an honorary one, does help rally people to your cause. Not speaking from experience, of course.
Like Reverend?
Oh, well, that title I earned. I don't know what you're talking about.
1999.
All social constructs are nonsense in a kind of way.
Yes, exactly. As soon as you exit these walls, they don't mean anything. But here, they're important to people. That's what I'm learning.
Sometimes it's not the oath itself that is given because it's deserved. Sometimes when people take the oath, they end up living up to it.
I think it'll be whatever you make it. Like anything.
I got a lot of work to do in this tower. You guys, thanks for talking, Damon.
All right.
Anybody
And
want any
with that-
cookies?
And some cookies for the road. Out you all head through the gate. Is there anything particular you were packing up to take with you on your little endeavor?
I heard there was some potion. You said there was a potion in Theots things.
There was a potion and there were 2 flasks. Both flasks seem to be the same items.
I'm taking both. So I now have 6 unknown
You should totally qualify all those. Nothing bad ever
balls.
happens.
All at once.
Was there any breastplate or half plate that would fit?
Oh yeah.
Myself
Yes,
for the Reverend.
Yes, down in the quartermasters. It
Thanks.
isn't a snug, perfect fit,
Uh-huh.
but it certainly will do for right now on that. So you can fit, get an armor to look at it. So not as comfortable as
Is it a breastplate or half plate?
a breastplate.
Okay.
We'll take 2. Room.
Well, I would have spent the time before we left to sew that into my suit, replacing the chainmail that was, the scale mail that was sewn into it previously. Each of those little bedazzles is actually an armor scale.
Rhinestones.
All right.
As everybody's like getting ready to set out from the tower to go on this next little adventure, I think I'm gonna meet them kind of at the door without my bag on.
So, like I said, I still have a lot of work to do in the tower here, and I really don't feel like I can. Well, Sargendron here said that like a smaller force might be better. So if it's all the same to you guys, I'll wait for you here, and I'll get things ready while you're gone.
Remember that greave you plundered off of my body? Keep it. It's the symbol of your knighthood. It's proof that I knighted you. I think it'll fit on your shoulder.
Oh, I appreciate the thought, but it's gone.
Ah. Well,
You have another one though on the other side of the door, right?
true.
I'll take that one when you guys come back.
Right.
Wheels inside your dude's head moving like this.
Could be flattened.
All right, and off you all head into the shambles on your quest to seek out the collector, kind of waving to Scooch as he kind of disappears
Oh, I will
further
miss
and
you.
further you get. And that's where we're gonna leave off this week. So do join us at Origins, and we'll see where this picks up from there. Thank you very much for your time this evening, and thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties that we had. And join us again for some more technical difficulties down the road. You all have yourselves a great night. Thank you very much.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.